please welcome my guest for this evening, Prism.
Hi.
Hi, Prism. Hello.
Hi. Hi.
Hello. Welcome on in, Prism. So happy to have you here. I'm sure most folks who are tuning in right now are already familiar with you, but for anyone who might not be, or for anyone who might be watching this on YouTube after the fact, hi, YouTube. If you could introduce yourself.
Hi, YouTube. I'm Prism. I'm sorry. I was like, oh, oops. Okay, I'm gonna have a little snack.
Oh, by all means.
Yes. I am Prism's Play, and I am a glitter bender roller skating kink romancer unicorn. I am originally from heaven because that's where unicorns are from, and I exist on sugar and sex positive vibes. And can I say hi to some people?
By all means.
Okay. Hi, Scraggle! Scraggle is one of my artists who, it's unbelievable. Scraggle has actually not fired me yet. I am extremely lucky to not be fired yet by Scraggle, between constantly leaving them on read and missing appointments. I'm a shit. And Scraggle, I'm so lucky to have you. Scraggle's actually working on an extraordinary background, a new one with a new idea with some new content. So anyway, hi Scraggle, I love you and thank you for not firing me. Hi Saku, hi Sky, hi Taco, hi Benjamin. Okay.
Hi, Scraggle. Thanks for not firing, Prism.
I deserve it, let me tell you.
Well, also, just, right out the gate, we have a tease of things to come. So, as always, be sure to follow Prism. If for some reason you aren't already, we have her Twitch and Twitter link right here at the bottom of the screen. But also, please say that this command that I put in, good, it does work. Why is there that percentage mark there? Oh, well, whatever. Streamlabs, we'll deal with you later. But anyways, welcome on in, Prism. So happy to have you here.
Thank you.
I saw with the Go Live tweet that you promised people Prism Teenies. And I will admit that I didn't prep the bar. So what is in a Prism Teenie? What do I need to be getting for these fine folks?
You know what? Okay, let me get one. Oh my god, hold on. Okay. Prism Teenies. They are a special concoction of me, basically. Right? Basically, if someone orders a Prism Teenie, you can put any kind of, you put water in it, and I mix it up with a little bit of Prixie sticks, which are my specialized candy, and then I stick my horn in it, and it becomes any drink you want. So if you want hot chocolate, if you want a vodka martini, if you want some Earl Grey tea, gross, if you want, sewer water, I can make that happen.
Hey, that's the magic of a unicorn, folks, right here.
Yeah, I'll give you one.
Ooh, please, thank you.
Yeah, here, I give you one. And I'll put this, I'll put this one on the tray, and I can just set it to the side for you.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'm trying to think, what would my Prism Teenie taste like? Just, that... For me, when it comes to drinks, it all depends on the mood that, as apparently there is no kink shaming, but we had a little bit of drink shaming. You don't like Earl Grey tea, I take it.
No, Earl Grey tea is nasty.
Okay, well, tell you what, I'll take care of that Earl Grey tea for you. I will drink any Earl Grey tea that comes your way. That way you don't have to deal with it.
So you're an Earl Grey drinker. That's okay. I'm actually obsessed with tea. I love tea. I'm a big Irish breakfast, English breakfast girl, but Earl Grey is way too smoky for me.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Given the choice, I'm gonna choose English breakfast, Irish breakfast. Absolutely. I'm just, I think the fact of the matter is my palate is terribly unrefined. I'm not like, you say smokiness when it comes to Earl Grey. I can't taste the difference.
Really?
Not really. That, like, it's a subtle thing. Maybe it's because I've never had the two really side by side. And maybe it's also just been because it's been a minute since I've had Earl Grey. Like, the next time I have Earl Grey, I'm going to be actively thinking about this, Prism. I'm going to be, trying to find that smokiness to figure out, all right, what's going on here. But just when it comes to tea, and also when it comes to alcohol, that, people talk about these different subtleties in wines or in whiskeys, and it's like, it tastes, I can taste somewhat different things, but I just
You
don't
can't
have the
tell
nuance.
the difference between alcohol?
Well, I can tell the difference, obviously, between wine and whiskey, but it's the type of thing, if you put two whiskeys in front of me, I'll be able to tell that there is a difference, but it's...
Oh. No, I'm not that good. I'm not that good. But the thing is, Earl Grey is really strong, and it has a very distinct smoke flavor. So you actually, if you took a sip of like Irish breakfast and you took a sip of Earl Grey, you might be able to tell the difference. If you put an Irish breakfast and an English breakfast in front of me, I don't know. I drink them so much, I might be able to tell the difference, but maybe not. I'm not that good for
Like,
sure.
now
Like
I'm
I
going to go out
can't.
and buy just a little bit of tea, just so I can do this as an experiment for science, because now I'm really curious.
Yeah, no, I'm not that good. Like, if you put two different kinds of red wine in front of me, I'm not going to be able to tell you which one's the Malbec and which one's the Well, I'm pretty good with my Malbecs and my blends. I don't know. But Earl Grey tastes like a fucking melty campfire, and I don't like it.
Well, what would your Prism Teeny taste like? Or if for you it varies by day, what would your Prism Teeny taste like tonight?
Well, right now, I'm actually drinking, I'm a big, like, chocolate mint person, and so
Yes.
I have pure peppermint extract, right? So, it's so weird.
Ooh.
I actually make, because I don't really like coffee, I'm not a coffee drinker, but I will drink coffee and put, like, 2 to 3 drops of pure peppermint extract into the coffee with a, like, a peppermint creamer and honey, and so that would be what I would, that's my drink of choice. That's what
Ooh,
my
okay.
martini is. Yeah.
Yeah, that for me, that I do not like straight coffee. That I can't have black coffee. Way too bitter for me. That whenever I do have coffee, quote unquote, it's usually something that most coffee drinkers would no longer call coffee because there's so much sweeteners and other things in it. But I love the smell of coffee. There's something about it that,
Yes.
usually if you like the smell of something, you like the taste, and if you don't like the smell, you're not going to like the taste. There's this complete disconnect for me when it comes to coffee. I love the smell of black coffee, just like, deep roast. Can't stand the taste.
Okay, I know, like, I know we're like, we don't want to talk about coffee all night, but I have to tell you this. There is a scientific reason why coffee smells good and doesn't taste as good. And I'm not frantically going to be able to find it right now. But I learned this it's a biological tongue fact. It has something to do with how your senses, like your smell, intakes the coffee fragrance, and it doesn't have the same effect that the taste buds have. So, like, if you're smelling like a pot roast in a crock pot, and then you eat the pot roast, that's like equal. Like, you're like, wow, that pot roast smells so good, and then that pot roast tastes, and it's like, there's not a whole. But coffee, for most people, not most people, sorry, a lot of people will say, I love the smell of coffee, but I don't like the taste.
Yeah,
of
because
coffee.
I know I'm certainly not
there's a
alone in that statement.
There's a scientific reason for it, but I can't explain it right now, and it's too long to Google. But there is actually a reason, because I'm the same. I love the smell of coffee. If someone is making coffee, I'm always like, oh, make me a cup of coffee. And then I'm like, oh, I regret this. I don't like it at all. Unless I can, like,
it just
douse
keeps
it
tricking
with
you that,
all of me.
it smells so good and you're like, maybe I'll like it this time. Take one sip. Nope.
No. Unless you make it the way I make it, then it's pretty banging.
But yes, did not expect to start talking about coffee, but hey, here we are anyways. One thing I do with all my guests, and it's something that I'm pretty open about here on Vtuber Talk, is that I make a point to talk with my guests before the show. And it's a type of thing that we spoke the other day, and this is episode 76 of Vtuber Talk, and one thing that I have come to learn is that some folks do like to plan. I'm someone who likes to plan. You actually mentioned on your stream last night, you are not a planner, that you're someone who just likes to be spontaneous, and, one up front, thank you for going with me on the little journey of, the bits of planning that I like to do. And I sort of mentally threw out a lot of what we did, because I was like, all right, you know what? I realize Prism likes doing things a lot more spontaneous. And while one thing's going to work for me, some things don't work for everyone. And I think that also just, you talk a lot about not kink shaming. And I sort of find a bit of a parallel there. Oh, hey, thanks for the follow, Prism.
You're welcome.
But, it was just the type of thing that I was sort of thinking, there is a bit of a parallel in terms of how people, really go about a lot of their lives, whether it be content creation, whether it be how somebody learns. That you mentioned that you're a visual learner. I'm also a visual learner, but I know, some people are auditory learners. Some people have to do something extremely hands-on to truly understand it. And I think that there's a lot to be said for parallels with Kink in that, in terms of just what somebody likes is not going to necessarily be what somebody else likes, but recognizing and appreciating and just acknowledging those differences. And that is something that I know is very near and dear to your heart. That's something that you make a point for, you made a point of it in your intro tonight. And as much as having a weekly show of your own, which is your Kinkication stream, which you actually had just last night.
Yeah. Yes. If there was a question in there, I missed
No,
it.
I guess
Sorry.
that was me rambling a little bit there and just being like,
okay.
hey, I sort of realized this thing because it's something that for me as a person, me as a host, that I'm always trying to improve, always trying to learn. And I think that's, I've always sort of tried to recognize that, yes, obviously every guest is going to be different, but I guess the sort of parallel there sort of clicked for me. And I guess here's a good question. So you have your Kinkication stream, and that for that one, you are a host, that in a very literal sense, that it is your talk show. It's a talk show that is curated based on the kinks and interests of your guests. This is a selfish question for me as a talk show host. How do you go about coordinating or doing the organization for those types of streams? / is there any sort of planning, or for that one, do you also just let things sort of evolve very naturally and spontaneously?
Well, first, I want to explain where Kinkication came from.
Please.
So, Mimcubus, do you know Mimcubus?
Yes, I most certainly do. I don't have a command written up for him, but I will do a shout out. Mimcubus.
Yeah.
Go.
Mim and I have been friends for a long time. And Mim and I have sort of always talked about our various projects that we have going on, and very IRL, like what are you working on, what's going on, and we have both been content creators and performers forever. For me, literally for my whole life. So we, just as friends do, check in, chat, talk, and Mim had mentioned to me a long time ago that they were writing stories based around kink. And I was like, I'm listening. And so, long story short, we decided to try and create together. And one of the things that we're doing that is very kink focused, which this all came from Mim, was an online comic that would take place on a monster island, which is a place where creatures of all sorts and kinds, shapes and sizes and creeds and colors and different walks of life and different kinks and interests and blah, 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 can come together and have a place to experiment and to have kink experiences in a safe way, with consent, communication being imperative, and all of those things. And so this was something that Mim had been working on for a long time. This was not new, but it was new to me. And so when we decided to sort of, collaborate on some of these ideas, we definitely both want and will be running these type of Kinkication streams. And as a new VTuber, because Mim debuted before I did, I had mentioned, hey, maybe this is something, that we can do together, and just it's the impossible schedules, and it's really my schedule that's impossible. But they are Monster Island streams, and they take place on Monster Island. And so that's where they came from. They came from the wonderful mind of our favorite incubus, Mimcubus. And I just want to make sure to give that credit, because it's a wonderful idea. And it's something that I didn't see when Mim brought it up to me. I was like, I see a lot of down bad, and I see a lot of perv, and I am 100% in line with all that. 100%, and I always have been. But I don't see what Mim was really wanting, which was something really focused on more of an educational piece, like um, people who do things wrong in kink and misconceptions of kink. It's not just about let me tie you up and spank you. Like there are relationships to be developed and communications to be had. Um, yes, we love Mim. We stand Mim. Hey, Taco. Taco's one of my moderators. Hi, Taco.
Pet the mods.
So, yes, yes. So anyway, I saw something shiny known as Taco, and I lost my train of thought. But so anyway, but the other part of your question, how do I go about coordinating? It's fucking hard because I'm still very much a new kid on the block, and I feel like you can say you're a new VTuber up to a year, just like newlyweds can say they're newlyweds up to a year, because I debuted in March, and I
feels like it's been so much longer than March.
well, because I started, I went on what we call jokingly as I went on tour. I was so nervous to start VTubing. I wasn't comfortable with the tech. I'm still not. And I would guest on people's streams, and so I was fortunate to be able to hang out with Takahata on a couple of streams, and then Mim for a few streams, and then RoyZoka had me on their stream. Yay, you got a new follow!
Oh, yay! It's like, oh, it slid away. Killname12345. Thank you so much for the follow. Oh, and also valid _. Thank you so much, and Scraggleberd. I totally missed those. Those are my bad. Thank you for the follows.
Okay, it's hard to do, and plus I never shut up, so good luck getting a word in. But anyway, so yeah, so I and then Vexy had me on. My beautiful friend Victoria, the Sun Eater, had me on her stream, and my amazing baby floof hellhound Spite had me on her stream. So I got around a little bit, as one does when you're me, and got to have a little bit of experience in the digital puppetry world before I debuted in March. So like people think, oh, well, you've been around since New Year's, sure, but running my own show started officially, I think it was like March 15th. So here's the problem with running a stream that's based on kink is because I'm still somewhat new. If I want to be, if I go to a stream or I catch a tweet that really makes me laugh, and it's been one big VTuber family. You're right, Benjamin. It absolutely has. I can't just DM them and go, "Yo, are you into kink? Do you want to come on my show and talk about that?" I can't really do that.
Yeah, I would guess that approaching guests for you is like, I try to be very professional and nuanced when I do my own approaches. I would imagine it is magnitudes more tricky and, just doing that delicate dance of professionalism for you.
It is. There's some people that I really vibe with quickly, and then I feel comfortable doing that. There's some lewd tubers that I would love to reach out to, but I don't have the numbers, and I would be concerned that they would be like, who the frick are you? I think in time, as I hopefully grow a little bit more, I'll when I say, hey, have you heard of Monster Island? Do you know Mimcubus? We have a stream from Mim that is based on talks around safe kink, and they might be like, oh my god, I know Mim and I know exactly what you're talking about, and I know Monster Island, and that might be an easier conversation to have. But for right now, it's oh, thank you, Sky. It's hard. Yeah, for right now, I have to be a little bit more careful. And I didn't think I was going to have anyone last night. But Darius and I have been chatting for a few weeks, and Darius was good with coming on, and it was super fun. Excuse me. So yeah, it's really difficult to plan. There's a vetting process. I do have to watch like if I'm going to invite someone, I vet them as much as one can. Seeing as how we're all anonymous, but I will watch a few of their streams. I will watch how they. I will have my eye on them for a few weeks before I request a DM or reach out to them, just to see what their content is like, how they treat other guests, how they are when they're on other shows. It's really it's so much easier to reach out to people and be like, "Yo, you want to play some Fall Guys?"
Well, like even
free?
For me, that like I make a point to know the guest content and just one, don't undersell yourself, Prism. That I think you are doing pretty damn well in terms of numbers, and obviously there's always going to be folks who are bigger than you. That always is, and it's something
Hey
that
now, let's hey now. You never know. We don't know what the future holds.
Well, here's to the best future for both of us, but I will say that at this point in time, when it comes to numbers, that I have even less in that I very much understand. It's definitely not going to be a one-to-one for our experience here, but that the concept of wanting to make sure that, one, you vet somebody, and just that I always make a point to tune into folks' streams to, see, one, is this somebody I think I can just have a conversation with for a couple of hours, and to vet in terms of, like you said, just, see how they behave on their streams, how do they treat their chat, how do they behave on other folks' streams, and I can absolutely appreciate that and recognize that for all that I do, that it's going to be, like I said, magnitudes more for you, and that's the type of thing that it putting in that work pays off big time, and it's that work that other folks don't necessarily see because it's off-screen time, and hopefully at the very least that type of work, quote unquote, is fun because you're getting to check out new folks' streams, but you still have to be watching at that point with a more critical and professional eye than just sitting back and enjoying a stream. And there is a bit of a difference there. And I will say, I'm not surprised to hear your vetting process on that, but at the same time, it's just, for me, it's cool to hear, okay, cool. The things I do aren't entirely crazy.
No, and the other thing is, it's part of my background. I've been performing my entire life, and I do have talk show experience under my crotch, belt, snatch, whatever you want to call it, Prixie stick belt. I have a lot of performance experience. I have a
Under
lot of
that
talk show
fabulous coat.
experience. Under my fabulous coat, I do. So I don't think the right word is ironic. I think it's interesting to note that the one thing I wasn't scared about when it came to VTubing was the performance aspect and holding an audience. Because of my training, the medium is different. Definitely haven't done kabuki before. Actually, I have. I do have a little bit of.
As she realizes mid-sentence.
I do have a little bit of training in kabuki. When I say I've done it all, I have performed in every medium imaginable. The thing that made me nervous for VTubing wasn't the performance aspect or being able to hold an audience, which is not to say that I have high numbers. I stream to 40 people sometimes. That's just the way that it goes. But what scared me about VTubing was the technical aspect, because I don't have training at all in any sort of technical aspect in any sort of field, because I'm always the performer. So I hear a lot of VTubers, they're terrified to go live. They're am I going to be funny? Am I going to be engaging? Am I going to be? And whether I am or whether I'm not, I don't think about that. I don't think about that because I've had so much training that I just sort of do what I do, and I just hope it works. And if it doesn't, it's fine. It'll work at some point. But the technical, the learning curve for me in a program like OBS, which is the most terrifying thing I have ever seen.
OBS is not user friendly.
I started crying.
In your defense,
I was like,
OBS is not user friendly.
No, for real though. I had already paid. Like, I had already half paid for my model, and I was going for it. And after that was in the works and happening. And then I decided to look into OBS, and I was like, oh my God, what have I done? I have made a horrible fucking mistake. I can't do this. I can't do this. I don't understand what these audio sources are. I don't understand this fucking filters and properties of fucking smoothness and similarity and percentage of my ass. Like, I was like, I'm fucked up. And I started looking into maybe hiring someone to kind of produce my, not kind of, but to produce my streams.
Yeah, just
an
actual producer.
Yeah, a producer to always be remote with me. But I was like, I really want to be DIY. I want to, my quest to force myself to learn this was greater than hiring someone to do it for me, because that's what I've done my whole life. Like, oh, I don't understand how to run audio for this project. Hire somebody. Oh, I don't understand lights for this project. Hire somebody. And I was like, am I really gonna, first of all, be able to afford it? No. But second, let's just pretend I had a money tree. Do I really want to depend on someone else every single time I go live?
Yeah,
I don't want
that's going to be really restrictive.
I don't want a partner in this endeavor. I want to produce my own shows. And so I had a super stressful few months where I was like, well,
gonna figure this out.
I guess I'm doing this.
Yeah, no.
Oh my god.
For me, I started with training wheels with Streamlabs because it's OBS, but it's much more user friendly. The UI allows for a lot more automatic adjustment and plugins, but it's just so much harsher on your computer's RAM. And there was also some problematic things with Streamlabs in that I switched over to OBS.
Are you talking about Slobs?
Yes.
Oh, fuck them. They stole from OBS.
Yes.
That's why I quit using it, because I started off on Slobs too.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. Literally the only thing I still use of Slobs is that their chatbot, that I haven't been able to get the one from OBS to work, or another one that I need to actually look into that, but that as soon as I was comfortable enough with Slobs to, actually start shifting things over. And one thing I was damn proud of, I found a way to export scenes from Slobs because they don't want to let you do that. They don't actually have an export functionality because they don't want you switching platforms. But I figured out there's certain file paths that you can do with some hidden folders that it does exist. You just need to manually dig through on your files and you can find them and then export them directly to OBS proper. And I felt like a fucking genius when I found that out. I'm sure I'm not the only one who did it, but I felt very smart in that moment.
Yeah, it's really been difficult for me, and I just want to say thank you. Well, thanks for the follow, Voxa Bunny. That's so sweet. Come hang out anytime. And Benjamin, that's very kind. Prism is okay. Thank you. Sakushin. All right, I have a joke with Sakushin, who I just have such an affection for, because Sakushin goes to nearly all of my streams, spoils the shit out of me, and I'm like, Sakushin, if I just sat up here and threw up and ate it, you would think that I was doing a good job. Literally, I can do no wrong in Sakushin's eyes, because I have had some of the worst scuffed streams in the world, and had people on my stream and just struggled and suffered and struggled and suffered. And
find me a streamer that hasn't had suffering and scuff. That literally, I had a monologue in one of my first 5 episodes. I don't remember which one it was, but it was literally embrace the scuff, love the scuff. And you'll be able to appreciate this as someone who's done live performance, because that's a background of mine as well. And it doesn't matter if it's as a streamer or if you're doing theater or if you're doing a concert. If something can go wrong, it's not that if something can go wrong, something will go wrong, but it is 99 times out of 100, you are not going to have a perfect production. That some piece will go wrong, and it might not be a show-ending piece, but that there is almost inevitably going to be some level of scuff. And the secret I found is to just, like I said, embrace the scuff, love the scuff, and it's just how you handle that scuff, those problems, when they appear. And the mantra I have is, if the audience doesn't know something went wrong, nothing went wrong. Because there's plenty of times I've had things go haywire during either a stream or a live show, and it's just, all right, can I spin this or just prevent it? If there's a fire backstage, can I make it so the fire doesn't get in front of the curtain?
Well, yes, but you're talking about theater. Theater, you can improv your way out of most scuff. You can improv while you're having scuff as a VTuber, but you cannot pretend it's not happening, because chat will see that you've either cut yourself in half or you've gone mute.
It's certainly a lot more difficult in streaming. I will agree with that, yes.
Yeah. I just always beg for forgiveness, and chat hangs out. With some of the worst scuff, I literally, and I told chat to go away and to leave, and somehow more people kept coming in, and they kept dropping bits, and I was like, oh my god, and I just almost started crying, because I was like, I can't fucking fix this. So oh yeah,
I feel like there's a story here.
There was one night that was the fucking best. Okay, that was the fucking best. Okay, Okay, I do have to tell the story. So, all right, I had a major. So I was streaming, and it was a big Fortnite collab that I had planned with some really good friends. My beautiful friend, my rainbow hologram sister Ariel, and my good friend of mine named Zero Off, and oh my God, who was the other person? Oh, and my beautiful friend Tiffany Witcher, and we were playing Fortnite, and I had the power of fucking just blackout in my house, just total blackout. Yeah. And I came back, and I was gone. Prism was nowhere to be found. And it wasn't a case of just unloading and reloading the model and doing a couple of reboots, because I did that. I stopped and started the stream.
Now, is this Prism is gone from OBS, or is Prism is gone from your hard drive?
The world. The Prism's gone from the world. There was nothing in my drive. Everything was corrupt. Nothing. It was terrible. And so I was really upset, and I was also really panicked because
judging from what Chad's saying, I think I see where this is going. I'm so excited.
It was, yeah. So, and I will say, but being respectful of TOS, the next night was my big debut stream on a completely different platform, which can't be spoken about here. But the next night was my debut, and I'd already announced it, and I was super excited for it, and I couldn't find Prism. So I was like, you know what? I can't do anything about this right now. I'm not going to end the stream. So I just went ahead and unloaded one of the free VTuber models in VTube Studio, and it was Ramen Dog.
Incredible.
And so, but I couldn't just do that because I had to make it worse. And I was just telling chat, I was sort of realizing as we're playing Fortnite, and I'm like, you guys, oh my God, what if I have to stream tomorrow night on the other streaming platform as Ramen Dog? And so then it became, like, oh yeah, I'm Ramen Dog. I'm so hot. Yeah, get on in my ass. Come on, chat. You Ramen Dog. Ow, ow, ow. And I was howling. I've got clips on my TikTok. It's stupid. It's not as funny now, but it was funny. And it's like, I'm a pretty good navigator of trauma. Not that night was trauma. That night was just scuff. But like that kind of trying to navigate through situations just not really going the way they're supposed to is my life. And so all of that has kind of served me well to be hopefully a good improver.
And, hey, judging from chat, it has obviously become a memory that, that Fortnite stream might not necessarily be remembered. That I'm sure that you'd remember it as a fun night, but now it's a story of a night. And if eventually something like that can become a story that you can laugh at, then everything turned out. I can't say okay. That it's a good sign, I suppose, if you can eventually laugh about it.
It was pretty hysterical, and chat stuck with me. There are cursed clips from it. The stream is cursed. The clips are cursed. Everything was cursed. And then Scraggle. Oh, wait, do I have it in my data? I don't think. I will pull it up while we're talking. Scraggle. Oh man, there's nothing like having a really amazing artist who comes to your streams, and if they feel inspired by some sort of fuckery, they'll fucking sketch it and send it to you. And I do. Okay, hold on. And Scraggle DMs me, and they're like, "Hey, I made this for you," and it's this stupid.
Oh my. Okay, I've seen that. That's where that's from.
Yes, I love boobs, and this is not the PNG, obviously, because this is the quickest thing I can pull up. But Scraggle's like, and Scraggle's always doing that, like, the whole fucking Prism, you're toothpaste. It's like, no, I'm not. And Scraggle made, not toothpaste shirt and the toothpaste logo, the not toothpaste logo. So Scraggle's amazing, and I'm super fortunate that not only do they put up with me leaving them on DNR, but they also do gyms like this. And now Ramen Dog is a permanent,
forever immortalized.
Ramen DBZ Dog is their official name. Yeah, it was great. Anyway, blah 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 blah.
I'm trying to remember how the hell we even got to that point.
I don't know.
I don't know. We were talking about scuff probably, but Anyways, so I guess winding back a little bit, that you have, like we mentioned, your own show for Kinkication, which was inspired by Mim. And by the way, if you are
created by Mim. I want to make
Yes.
sure that that's whole ideas from Mim and Monster Island. But yeah.
Yes. So, created by Mim. And if you are interested, folks in the chat, in joining the Monster Island Discord server, I have the link for that down in the channel panels. Pulled that right off of your profile, Prism. I always want to make sure that I can direct folks because I don't have a Discord server. I did professional community management for 5 years and ran a Discord server, and I never want to do it again. So
yeah, it's hard, and I don't even run the one that I'm in now. Mim and I share a Discord server. Do you want me to put the invite in here? I can.
Oh no, like I said, it's in the channel panels. That
oh snap.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mim and I share the Discord server, and I have my own area called Prism's Playground. And I try to be as active in there as I can be. So yeah, my schedule should be freeing up a bit more in October, where I can spend, because I want to have watch parties, and Twitch is great, and other sites that I stream on is great, but I fucking love the art of community building, and that really happens in your Discord server. So I had one sort of, it wasn't even really a watch party. I just sort of chatted. I've been in there a couple times. I tried to play Fortnite. It was a disaster, and chat hung out with me. And then we did have, it wasn't a watch party, just a, hello, I'm Prism, and I'm going to debut soon, and people came and hang out. But I want more of that time with people in Discord, because some people don't go to Twitch. They're like, they're Discord people, and they might watch streams, but really their thing is, it might be gaming and Discord, and like that's where they interact with you, and I don't want to leave those people out, so
yeah, that is something I made the conscious decision to forego, just because, like I said, it partially my own mental health of just recognizing, okay, am I going to be able to effectively build up a community as much as I would want to without Discord? Absolutely not. I think Discord is an incredible community building platform, and I have chosen the life of a nomad on Discord, that, I join many, run none. And, just so much respect to you and mods, whether they be mods in chat, mods on Discord server, mods are, like unsung heroes. And I love seeing a well-run and cultivated community. That's something that I feel that I was pretty good at. That the reason for my burnout was not, I'd like to think, inability on my part. It was just the stuff I had to do became a lot for a variety of reasons. But anywho, it's the type of thing that from it all, I still have, I'd like to think, an eye for it, and I do appreciate. I love watching folks like you and just, pretty much any of my past guests, that everyone's different communities, and it's always so much fun for me as a host of being able to go in and see these different Discord servers. If folks, come into my chat, that it's always so much of a joy for me. And obviously, whenever I'm in my guest streams, because like I said, I like to do that, and even after the shows, I try and keep up with as many guests as possible, just because, I'm not going to invite someone on my show unless I genuinely enjoy their content anyways. And it's the type of thing that 76 episodes in, I can absolutely recall and tell the differences between different communities. And it is so very clear that you and Mim have done an incredible job with Monster Island and with your respective Twitch channels.
Thank you so much. Hold on one second.
Well, all right, chat. Should I be worried?
No. I wanted to take my hair down.
Oh, yes. Of course.
I feel like a movie star up here with this beautiful city landscape behind me, and this cocktail and ramen dog and my movie star shades. I just wanted to take my hair down.
Oh, yeah. And you made this incredible tweet earlier today of yourself walking down the red carpet, and it was like, I think that's the first time anyone's ever done that for one of my shows. I felt on her. I was like, oh my gosh, she thinks that she thinks she's walking the red carpet, and like that. you give me too much credit there. You give me too much credit.
No one. Listen, people don't invite me on their streams that much. I'm not really asked to go to a lot of collabs, and no one's ever wanted to interview me before. So it is red carpet time.
Well, I'm
the honored one.
Well, the feeling is absolutely mutual. That just, for... Well, no, wait, no, that's not true. You've been at Roy's.
Oh, no, I'm not saying no one's asked me to collab. I'm saying not a lot of people ask me to collab.
Fair enough. Yes,
Yeah.
But it's, it's so cool to see different communities, different creators, and for you sort of bring it back to the top of you being a performer, you being someone who has done, like, I don't think I've ever had anyone on my show who has any experience in kabuki, and I recognize is there a way that you can explain that in a way that, does not dox yourself? Safety first, obviously. Can you describe what led to that in vague terms? And if not, you can just say that you can't.
Oh, no, it's just theater training. I went to sort of a conservatory for all things acting. And so we studied literally every acting style possible from the old Wakefield cycle minstrel type medieval fucking plays on a wagon, medieval times. Actually, back further, we studied hellmouths and how those were displayed. Theater originated, as all things do in this world, with religion. So back when theater first started, it was very much just, it was all religious type plays, and look at where we are now. So we started in order of beginning to end, and went through all the different styles of theater, and then we studied other cultures, and also dance. Different cultures, in terms of just, and not necessarily just. I mean, I have ballet training and all that, but and I don't mean to cast that aside, but really, honestly, we could talk for 6 hours about all the things I studied. But the short answer is that I wanted to immerse myself in all things performing and all things performing. And so I found a school that did that. So we studied what was called, styles of acting and time periods, and went from beginning to into the golden age and the Renaissance, and then getting into existentialism and all of the philosophies that surround why theater has changed over the years. And then, of course, there was the musical theater and what that did, and then into contemporary. So I left out millions of things, but so I just we studied a little bit of Asian puppetry, and I also had singing styles classes where I studied a little bit of Inca and traditional Indian singing.
That's so cool. And
it's wild. It's wild. I'm not your. And by the way, none of this is a brag. This is just because I sometimes I get worried when I'm like, I'm so trained, I have so much training.
No, I asked, and just I find that stuff absolutely fascinating, and it's the type of thing that, like I said, it is training. And one, I'm super glad that you were able to find a school that sounds like they did a lot of really cool stuff and that had such depth of teaching, and that went through just chronologically and culturally through all those different things that I cannot say I have remotely that my experience as a performer and with acting has been a combination of happenstance with organic growth, and then other random happenstance that grew in other ways weirdly. That for me, my first performance that I can really think of, if we're not counting, elementary school performances where, everybody in class is required to sing and do the thing, would have been for my when I was in elementary school in 3rd grade. I wanted to be in my elementary school's talent show, and basically 90% of the performances in my elementary school's talent show was sing or dancing of some sort, whether it be, dancing to music that was playing in the background, or playing music, or something of that sort. And then there was like one kid who did juggling, one kid who did magic, and I think that might have been about it. And I'm not into singing and dancing. I think I'm actually a fair singer, but it was the type of thing I didn't have a song that I wanted to do. And my parents said, Jay, there's a thing called an MC. And what they do is that they go on and they introduce all the acts, and you're pretty outgoing, that maybe you should try that. And it was the type of thing that, for whatever reason, I have never had stage fright. It's just not a thing that has ever really occurred to me. I know it's something that a lot of people have, and I just consider myself really lucky that for whatever reason, my brain just doesn't do that. And I auditioned and I got to be MC for my school's talent show in 3rd grade. And that was the first time that I really was, on stage. And MCs, at least for that show, was on stage a lot because it meant that I was on literally before every act or every other act. And just sort of from there, I realized, oh, I do like being on stage and doing these things. And it sort of grew from there. And then, I was in band in middle school, drama throughout high school, and I have any number of stories there. But just even to this day, I do casual performances with friends on, different Twitch channels that nobody's ever going to know because they're very, very small. But we do these shows every so often for ourselves, and that's how I sort of keep active in acting and quote-unquote theater just for the hell of it. So I can't say that I have all that type of really cool training, but it's the type of thing that I do very much consider myself a theater kid, and I always enjoy having other theater folks on the show because I feel that everyone who's been in theater for any amount of time has fun stories, and I talk about ones that something might go wrong, and if you can laugh about it later, it's good. Do you have any favorite stories of things that went not as planned? And like you said, it's a lot easier to roll with something in an IRL stage scenario than on stream. So do any stories like that come to mind?
In a live theater type setting?
Yeah, just, something going a little bit haywire. Doesn't need to be show ending levels, but, something that didn't go as planned that you were able to work through, or that, the cast and crew was able to work through.
Probably. Thousands of stories.
I was like, yeah, that is a bit of a broad question, I suppose.
No, it's not a bad question. But it's just, I guess I can't think of something specific.
That's totally fine. I guess to reframe it in that case, do you recall what your first performance experience was? That, I said for mine was doing that MCing in elementary school. That can you trace your love of performance to either a first performance or a particular performance where things sort of clicked for you and you realized, oh, I love this?
No, because I was doing this in the womb.
That's fair. That's
I
totally
never,
fair.
I never ever for 1 second in my life wanted to do anything else but act. So
sometimes it's just like that.
People say like, "Oh, when were you bitten by the acting bug?" Or, "Well, I was bitten by the acting bug in junior high when I was cast in my junior high. I was the lead." And nope, I never knew a time when I wasn't obsessed with acting. So there was no defining moment. My mom knew it, and she immediately put me in acting classes at a really young as a young child, and dance and singing and all that. And also piano, which I fucking hated. But did not like piano at all. But that's because it was forced onto me. Hello, Blue Kirby. How are you? Sakushin, thank you. Yeah, I do have my pre-show music right before I go live. I play my intro song, which was created. The composer and musician and the start of the lyrics, the writing of the lyrics, were by Louis Vasquez, who's a beloved person in the VTuber community. He does a lot of commissions for VTubers for music, and then gave me a great framework to work for that song. And then I wrote some of the lyrics, and then my friend Z, who is also a friend of Mims, who will be debuting as their own VTuber hopefully soon, also wrote some lyrics. So yeah, thank you, Sakushin. And yeah, the end.
So that's super awesome. And I'm really happy to hear that your parents were, it sounds like, very supportive, that you said that you got enrolled in classes very quickly. And even if one of the classes, being piano, wasn't to your taste, that it sounds like you did have the support of your parents in terms of the broader interest of performance.
I was pretty lucky. My parents were really supportive of the fact that I wanted to be a performer. Now, as I got older, I did get the talks of like, "Well, you really going to do this your whole life?" And I'm like, yes, I really am going to do this my whole life." And I don't know. I think one of my parental units really wanted me to at some point. I think that they didn't not believe in me, but they're, parents are concerned about your well-being and
Yeah.
realize there's things such as mortgages and cars and food and
Acting
like,
is not
being
known
homeless.
for being the most stable of professions.
Correct. So, but to this day, they still support my love for performing. So
That's super awesome. That
Mhm.
eh,
Hi, Viscera. I love you. Hey, Arby, what's up?
welcome on in, Arby.
Hey,
Welcome on in, Viscera.
do you know Viscera?
I know of Viscera. I think at this point, I honestly lose track that it's a name I've seen. I know I've seen the name The Cryptid Coven. And I'm not
Yes.
sure if I've seen any of her streams, but I know that name. And I know the name Viscera as well. So, hello, welcome in.
Yes, the Cryptid Coven is an amazing horror streamer and puts on a wonderful show. They are a southern cryptid. Their model
This is
is
ringing even
fucking
more of a bell now.
original and incredible. And I love when I lurk in their streams and they're playing a horror game and chat tries to troll them. I love how Viscera acts like they're not scared from a jump scare when they totally are. Viscera, I see right through you. I see right through you. Yeah, but they've become a friend and we've collabed, and I also owe Viscera a DM. Ooh, I've been bad with those lately. Anyway, carry on.
Let's see, where are we? Acting and things and life. Yeah, that it's. I was very fortunate to have very, very supportive parents as well, and I sort of got that talk, and basically they gave me an option at one point, and they said, "Okay, we have put this money aside for your higher education," and they said, "If you want to do acting, that is okay, and we will support you, and the money that was put aside for what we initially potentially thought for a traditional college, we would put towards sending you to an acting school conservatory." And it's just, if you want to do that, we'll do that. But for me, I have anxiety issues of a very broad sense. It's just something that I've lived with my whole life, and it's something that, fortunately, through combination of medication therapy and just time learning about myself, I figured out how to live with it and live pretty effectively. And ultimately, I realized that being an actor would be too stressful for me, completely regardless of my own self-confidence, being on stage and all that, of just, you can be really good and still not make that. It is a tough thing, but it's the type of thing that I'm so glad that you and so many others are able to get over that. That's perhaps the version of stage fright that I get, in a way. And I have a lot of friends who've done theater, and so many of them are kicking ass, and it's so awesome. And it's really cool to see that you've been able to make this other ship, because like you said, with VTubing comes a whole bunch of skills that are not innate to acting, that you're not going to learn OBS at your acting school, at your conservatory. And the fact that you were able to make that leap, I think actually speaks a lot to you and your own abilities. And you even said earlier that you wanted to be able to learn that and do that for yourself. And I just think that's super cool.
Thank you. Shit. I had a response and it went out of my head. Oh, Victor. My dog is barking. What was I gonna say? I have really bad ADHD.
Oh, you're good.
Um,
To be fair, I didn't set you up with much of a question there, so I'll frame it in a bit of a
no,
question.
but there was something you said that I wanted to respond to, and oh gosh, it just left my brain.
It happens. It happens.
Mm.
Um, Voice acting is a tag that you usually put in your streams. And when I asked
Mhm.
earlier tonight of, what tags do you want me to put on here for ours, that voice acting was a specific one you had me include. When it comes to voice acting, was that something that came into play for you at acting school, or is it something that you picked up earlier or later? Where does voice acting in particular start for you?
Um, the classes started at university because again, like the the training for the conservatory was all encompassing. So it was a series of body movement and dance classes. It was a series of acting performance classes, and it was a series of voice classes. So we were trained in the art of not only singing in different styles, from opera to musical theater to other cultures of singing, but also in how to use your voice if you ever wanted to be a voice actor. And um, there's money to be made in commercials, and there's different voice acting techniques that you would use for, say, like if you were selling something as an ad, um, and hoping to get a commercial role, or other voice acting like in animated features, cartoons, or anime or what have you. So I just knew that I always wanted to be a performer. Um, I didn't I wanted to perform so badly I didn't care what it was, whether it was voice or dance, or acting. I mean, I knew it would always be acting, but I really delved into using every part of my body um to perform, whether it was stage, film, or microphone. So the formal training for voice really would have started when I started voice singing lessons as a child. Um, and then into a more voice acting sort of technique, which is a different way to use the voice, that started in college.
Mm,
Hello,
eh,
Shy Guy.
Hey, Shy Guy, welcome in. Were there any moments early in your VTubing experience where you had these either specific techniques or moments of, oh, yes, I remember using this thing that I suppose, and do correct me if I'm wrong in the assumption here, that I feel like VTubing comes with a not inherent voice acting, but that since so much of VTubing is going to be portrayed in your voice, that whether or not you necessarily classify that as acting, that the techniques, I suppose, of just emoting with your voice may end up coming into play. That am I at least moderately on base there?
I'm not sure what you're
I
asking.
guess
I'm so sorry.
no, it's okay. That oh, Cryptid Coven, thank you so much for the follow.
I mean, I will say, I don't know if this is what you're after, but um being trained, so if I have jazz or ballet training and there's auditions for a show that might have modern dance, do I have specific training in modern dance? I mean, I do actually, but let's say I don't. I'm going to be able to pull from other training I've had as a dancer to hopefully be able to, you know, audition and get cast. Singing for me was always my love. Voice acting, I didn't really know existed. Uh, but singing, I always wanted a trained voice, and I always wanted to be able to use my voice in a number of different ways. So the training that I went through, which wasn't just in college, I mean, it went on past that. Um, I just wanted to be able to use my voice in a number of different ways in the hopes to audition for everything that would use my voice, because I had an interest in using my voice. And I think that my favorite VTubers to watch are the ones that have engaging voices. They, because they're funnier to me, they put these little lilts and hills and valleys in their voices and do stupid shit. And I think to myself, wow, that person sounds like they've got some training. I might not know who they are. But I'm like, wow, that person sounds like they've got some training. And that is what that makes my ears perk up. That's who I like to watch, because I want the visual with the fun sound. That doesn't mean they have to be a good voice actor, but I want to be able to enjoy the voice I'm listening to. And then there's some, I mean, not just VTubers, but there's some, IRL cam people that their voice doesn't grab me. I might not watch them. Because for me, the visual and the auditory, as the art form as a whole, needs to grab me. So
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. That obviously, voice is going to be part of the package, and having an engaging voice, regardless of tone, regardless of training, is going to be something important, because if you want people to be engaged, pay attention, and be able to follow you, whether it is a just chatting stream or if it's a gaming stream, is going to end up being important. I suppose perhaps a better way of framing the question would be, have you noticed the vocal training having any impact on anything from just your IRL voice in terms of vocal care, or just how you emote even in normal conversation? Because when you are Prism, I'm assuming that you are not doing voice acting and you're not doing any heavy modulation or things of that sort. But
no, I am.
Oh,
I
fooled
mean,
me.
being on microphone, because I'm a performer, being on microphone for me, I'm using my voice. I mean, there have been streams where the next day I had to take it easy because I was up screaming from whatever fuckery I was doing the night before, whether it was like Little Nightmares. I try to stream that game, or just whoever I collabed with. I'm being real right now. I'm not acting right now, but I still have a trained voice that I use. I mean, I can't not do that when there's a microphone in front of me. I just automatically, I'm performing. So Little Nightmares.
Okay, so I suppose that's a bit more of what I was getting at. Not that sorry, that this is me probably using improper phrasing. That when I say I don't think that you are modulating your voice, I mean Cabal, for example, is very open that when he streams, he actively modulates his voice. That the cackling, more high-pitched cult leader that many folks know and love, that is not his normal speaking voice. Whereas your voice, as you are streaming and speaking now, is going to be pretty close, if not exact, to your normal speaking voice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's
but that the training that you've had helps you in how you carry yourself, how you carry your voice, how you speak, because yes, absolutely, that when you are streaming, that you are performing, and that I think in a roundabout way, you did actually answer the question, and the answer was that yes, the training has impacted how you perform and how you carry your voice in VTubing.
100%, absolutely, yeah.
Also, Shy Guy, thank you for the follow.
Even what sorry.
Nope, you're good. I was just thanking Shy Guy for the follow. Sorry.
Bye, Shy Guy, and Shy Guy has to go. Bye, Shy Guy.
Bye, Shy Guy.
Yeah, you got it.
Sorry, I'm getting a little scatterbrained myself here.
Oh, it's okay. I rub off on people.
It happens. It's the mood, but it's a nice mood. It is a very nice mood, and I guess sort of going to that of finding your mood for streaming. Was that something that you wound up sort of workshopping at all, or is that just you bring your personal tendencies and your vibe to stream, and that things roll from there, or is that something that you have perhaps more actively curated?
You mean like my persona, my Prism?
Perhaps not so.
Personality.
Let's go with yes for that. Sorry, I'm not communicating as clearly as I should tonight. So, but I will go with yes. That is effectively what I was getting at. Yes.
Yeah, sure. So Mim actually created me, and Mim was the original character designer of me, and then the full 2D model was made by Kaminiki, and then rigged by Nokoyama. But Mim first created me as a partner to Mim on Monster Island. So I'm very much um I'm very much that person for the Monster Island project. And it just so happens to be that I am also very interested in who that person is. So while I was created by someone else to be something else, it's also very much who I am. So I'm never I'm very contradictory, but because I've been focusing all night or not been focusing, I haven't been focusing all night, but I've been saying a lot like, oh, I perform, I perform, I perform. But everything I say on stream is real. Like when I run the Kinkification streams from Monster Island, I don't make up any stories. Um, and every question that I ask is, I'm not like they're coming from the real place of who I am and wanting to explore and be that talk show host for people to feel comfortable to talk with me. So am I performing and I'm performing in a character? I am, but it just so happens to be how lucky I am that the character that Mim created is actually me. I'm really not so different from what we wanted Prism to be. So I'm pretty lucky in that aspect. Because there's if you're with a well, that's a completely different topic. I don't know if I answered your question.
Yes, but you also actually then added another layer that I hadn't, I suppose, consciously realized, but you put it in, I think it makes it all the more interesting. And that is the fact that Mim designed Prism. And many VTubers, not all, but many design their own models. And that they will deliberately design their own models to be, if not a physical representation of them, then a reflection of them in some way, shape, or form. That they are very likely to design a model that speaks to them, that is going to be a physical representation of them and what they are interested in, how they want to be. And that, like you said, you wound up sort of hitting the jackpot, that you didn't have the active design there, but wound up with something that fit.
Well, Mim let me give input. I mean, my goodness. We had an interest in creating some art together. So it wasn't just like, I've designed this model, do you like it? Mim let me we created Prism together. Both knowing that I actually am a unicorn and I roller skate. And I love rainbows and I'm kind of gay and um all these things. Mim put me very much into Prism. So I certainly don't want to make it sound like basically someone was like, I made this thing for you, do you like it? And then I was like, yeah, I can work with that. No, it started off from scratch with very simple sketches and designs of where do we want to take this. And my interests are prisms. I do roller skate. I'm fucking terrible. And so is Prism.
Oh, Kamori Mojo, welcome in, Raiders.
Oh my goodness, you got a raid. Hello.
Welcome on in,
Raiders.
Millennials raid. Yay, Millennials.
Woohoo!
Bionicle
Oh
raid. Ooh, boy, now there's a blast from the past.
Bionicle raid. What does that mean?
So, are you familiar with Bionicle Prism?
I was thinking of bifocals. No.
No, bifocals are very different. Bionicle is I don't think it's still active, Lego line that basically it was not quite connects, but basically it was these Lego action figures, for lack of a better term, that they actually built out lore. They had a couple of janky animated movies for them, and that for whatever reason, in the past couple of years, they've sort of had a resurgence as half a meme, half serious, it seems, of just it's one of those things that is nostalgia, mostly, I suppose, and just fond memories that, yes, as Servo MD says, Bionicles were so cool that I distinctly remember, like, they had all these different versions. That the first models were basically these action figures that had, like these little weapons, and they would have wheels on them of these different little Lego parts, and you can make them fight.
Oh, nice. Nice.
And they had all these different ones, and there was usually like 6 colors of each. And it just spun out into this entire franchise, for lack of a better term, for Lego. And it went for a while. I could believe it's still active if someone told me. I don't know.
Discontinued in 2010.
Okay.
Oh, it was rebooted in 2015 for a further 2 years. Yeah.
There we go.
Cool. This is very cool.
Yeah, and just like I said, for whatever reason, Bionicle mentions just in streams and in chats, I've noticed over the past year and a half, really, has suddenly had this uptick of just, like I said, sort of combination meme and collective nostalgia. So apparently, I'm guessing, Komori Mojo, I first off hope you had a good stream. I'm guessing there was something to do with Bionicle going on over there. Not sure what it was, but I hope you all had a good time. Welcome on in. We just got to give Prism a bit of education on Bionicles.
Love it. That's very cool.
Well, okay, so you know what? I will flip that around on you. Do you have any favorite, childhood toys or, just either fandoms or things of that sort that you just, have very fond memories of?
I was into Barbies.
Hey, that's absolutely valid. And Moro just says, look through all the old Bionicle media. Yes.
Oh.
How fun. Well, welcome
that's
in.
Pretty cool.
Yes,
yeah,
and
welcome in.
Also, I realized that in all that, I didn't introduce myself. I didn't let you introduce yourself. Hi, Raiders. Okay. I'm Jay. This is Vtuber Talk. I interview a different Vtuber just about every week, and I'm so lucky to have Prism here with me tonight. Prism, if you could introduce yourself for the newcomers.
Hi, I'm Prism Splay. I'm a roller skating glitter bender, kink romancer, unicorn, and I'm very honored and happy to be here on Vtuber Talk with you, and welcome in Raiders, and thank you to your community for having me.
So you were saying that Barbie for you, and honestly, I feel like Lego made Bionicle as sort of the male branded version of Barbie in a way. That, like I said, it was sort of action figure-esque. So for you, what was your experience with Barbie? Because I know obviously Barbie is something that means a lot of things to a lot of people, but not necessarily the same thing to everyone. So what was it for you?
I was also into Legos, and I also was into what else was I into? I was really into My Little Pony. Still am. Love My Little Pony. But it was weird. The way that I played Barbies, I didn't play well with other girls with Barbies because they always wanted to be married and clean the house and I'm was constantly just changing my Barbie's clothes to go to parties and raves. Raves, not raves, but dances and stuff. So yeah, for me, Barbie was always performing. I don't know. It was like a little version of me, a Barbie version of me. Barbie is getting a live action movie, which is great. But yeah, I was really into Barbies, and I just loved dressing them up and styling their hair and all that stuff. That was it really. I mean, most of my childhood was me just make believe. I had toys, but not. Not really. I was really consumed with extracurricular activities. I was constantly in a class for something.
That makes sense, and it's consistent with the other things that you've mentioned of just the very constant thread of performing, and it is perhaps fitting that when you were playing with Barbies that you would be having them dress up in different outfits, or going out and partying or performing, and just having that sort of representation of yourself in that way. And I actually didn't know, Sakutane, that there's going to be a live-action Barbie movie. That's cool. I hope it does well. That it's one of those things, obviously, it wasn't a major part of my childhood, but like I said, I know it means a lot to a lot of people, so I hope they do it justice, and I hope that for the fans of that they get something really good.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be fun.
Yay, that's always good, because I feel like, especially in today's day and age, the whole concept of adaptations is such... We live in, like, this wonderful era of media that is half incredible, half monkey's paw, of just... there's so many more adaptations than ever, and there are these things that, people have dreamed of for years and years and years of, oh gosh, I hope they get an adaptation, and then it's going to end up being 50-50. Sometimes you get incredible things of just, Marvel, that it took them a couple decades to really figure out, all right, what's the key to getting that really good mainstream superhero film, and they sort of cracked that code. And there have been these other franchises that have found out how to do something that just clicks with their audience, and then there are others that whiff a lot. But hey, at least folks are trying. And you hope for the best.
Yeah. Nothing's original anymore, and people really hate on remakes. But remakes have been around since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
You think about like all the old classic black and white films. The movie's now old. I don't even remember when it came out, but it's called 10 Things I Hate About You.
Oh,
That
yeah.
is originally an old ass silver screen movie. Everything's a remake.
And don't people also draw parallels to that to Taming of the Shrew?
Yes, they do. Exactly. And Sky, you're right. Netflix adaptations are extremely hit or miss. Every adaptation, I think, is extremely hit or miss.
Yeah, and like you said, just adaptations and remakes are inevitable. Nothing's original, and I don't care if there's a remake of a thing I love. If anything, I'm happy there's a remake because it means it has endured the test of time in some way, shape, or form. I just hope that it's a good enough adaptation so that 20 years from now it gets remade again. The last thing I want to see is a remake flop so poorly that it kills the thing and that nobody else will get to have the good memories that I have. As long as somebody else is getting something cool from the thing that I enjoyed, I'm happy for them, even if it's not necessarily, what I grew up with. And at that point, even if I don't enjoy it, because one, I'm probably not in the target demographic anymore, necessarily. But, if I enjoy it, great. And if not, whatever. I just hope it does well and right by the folks that, are there to enjoy it.
Yes.
If you had the authority to either get a reboot or a remake for any, could be any movie, any play,
The Last
any
Unicorn.
Music. That was fast.
I want to be The Last Unicorn. Oh, it's my favorite movie. It's so painful. Fucking anime. It's my favorite movie. I love it. I love the voice acting cast. Oh my god. And I remember when I saw it, I thought I always mispronounce her name. You would think that I would know her name. Starts with an A.
I sadly won't be able to help because I admittedly have not seen The Last Unicorn, but I have other friends who swear by it as well and have been telling me to see it. So, I'm adding you to that list.
Yeah, I think her name is Althea, but I usually say it wrong. I just thought she was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen, and I was like, oh my god. Well, Benjamin, yes, but I literally am a unicorn. I mean, Amalthea. Thank you, Amalthea. I always say Althea. You would think I would know the name. I know the design, but yeah, Amalthea. I thought she was the most beautiful creature I'd ever seen, and I was sort of disappointed when she became like a real human because I was like, she was so much prettier as a unicorn.
Sort of feels like the end of Beauty and the Beast, where you've gotten so used to seeing the Beast's design that the Prince design is just, it's not a bad design, but it's just, it suddenly has the slight just mental disassociation because you've gotten so used to one thing.
Well, and I really hate the trope of, the Beast is ugly and the Prince is hot. It's like, fuck off. Like,
No, Like,
I'd fuck the Beast. I'm a monster fucker. I'd fuck the Beast.
I'm
over
not,
the
and I think the Beast.
Prince.
I think the Beast is damn good looking, and that's not even my thing, and I can appreciate that.
Yeah, sorry for the lewd bit there. I had
You're
more to
fine.
go,
You're
but
fine.
I thought probably I should have like not said any of it. But hey, you can cut this out.
Nah.
But yeah, I don't like that. And this trope is also tread sort of lightly upon in Trek as well, where it's like supposedly he's not
Mhm.
hot and she's hot, and oh no, she thinks she's not hot. So then to make them equal, they made her also not hot. But if you see beauty in a different way, Shrek's totally hot. So I just get, oh God, and there's a really offensive movie. Holy, I don't even want to talk about it. I hate it so much, but it's everything that I'm talking about right now, where it's like, the premise being the character is like an unattractive person from the world, but the person sees them a different way. And then one day the character turns into the actual thing that they really are. And the person that supposedly loved them for who they are is now horrified because the person's ugly. And I just like, fuck off with that trope. I hate it. Yeah, Scraggle, the Beast was that scene when the Beast is in his suit and he's so nervous and so precious, so handsome. Oh my God, so handsome, so handsome. Yeah, I love it.
I want to know who actually tailored that. Like, I'm guessing there must have been some sentient sewing needles or something in that mansion to do that, because that was a damn fine tailored suit he had.
Yeah, didn't someone make it in the? I can't remember. I don't remember if someone made it.
Because I remember it was a thing. There was a whole scene in Cinderella where like the mice and everything. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yeah, I fucking love those mice.
That was literally it. Okay, I wasn't gonna bring up this story, but because we just sort of fell into it, the first musical I was in was Roger and Hammerstein's Cinderella. And the thing is, I initially did not know that it was Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella because I grew up watching Disney's Cinderella. So I went to the theater teacher at the time and was, talking to her to get the information for the audition. And I asked her, like, so what are you going to do about the mice? How's this going to work? And she sort of gave me a look and she was like, well, I don't know, we might, use small little figures for them or something. And I shot back, well, how are you going to do all the dialogue for them? And we sort of had this moment where we realized, oh, we're not talking about the same thing. And then she explained to me, it's not Disney Cinderellas, it's Rodgers and Hammerstein. So,
there were no mice?
Well, that's the funny thing. So, there are still mice in Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella. They aren't the characters that they are in Disney Cinderella, but there is still the trope of mice turn into horses. And I wound up playing one of the mice that got turned into a horse in the end. And it wasn't even intentional. I just got thrown there. I was in the ensemble and they put me for that bit. So the whole thing came full circle. But anyway, sorry. The concept of the trope of beauty and those very silly ingrained cultural standards that end up getting reinforced, unfortunately, by a lot of media.
I can't stand it. I just, I don't know. I really don't like it.
And that stemmed then from Last Unicorn. So, Last Unicorn, if you were to remake The Last Unicorn, would you want to do it largely the same and just sort of update, graphics and imagery and sets for modern day? Or would you want to do a different spin on it in terms of either medium or maybe even something a bit more radical? What would you do for your remake of The Last Unicorn?
No idea.
That's fair. That is a big question. But you know that you would want to give it new life. You know you would want to give it new life somehow.
I love the original so much. I don't know that I'd want to change it. And then I'd be super picky about the studio that animated it. Oh my God. I love the original animation so much. I don't know. But I'd want to be the voice of Amalthea. For sure. So Mia Farrow in that role is just incredible. And so is Schmendrick. I forgot the voice actor for Schmendrick. And then Angela Lansbury as the old woman. And then that skeleton was so. That scene terrified me with the skeleton. I remember. Oh my god, that was so creepy. So, oh, thank you, Scooshin. Oh my god, Benjamin, I've never seen The Last Unicorn in theaters. I would die. Probably try and ride her out, getting turned into a human. Yeah. Well, and it always sort of broke my heart. She goes back to being a unicorn, and she's like, she can't hang. She's like, I'm just different now. Which hurt me in a way. But yeah. Who knows what someone would do with it if I were to remake it? Oh my goodness, I don't know. I'd have so many production meetings that I'd probably chase everybody off and get fired from my own project, and it would never get made. Oh Lord.
Well, all right, folks. Someday, whenever there's the Last Unicorn remake, because it's something that, like I said, even though I haven't seen it, it's a name that I know, and it strikes me as one that they. Then again, there are very few things that I wouldn't be surprised if they got remade. So I don't know, but I hope for you that maybe someday it does get remade and that it's done justice. That, like I said, that's what I always hope for, and that you're able to get the role of, as I now make sure that I hopefully pronounce it right, Amalthea.
Amalthea, yeah. Oh my God, Viscera, you'd be an amazing old witch. Holy frick. Redclaw would be a great Schmendrick.
I now just want. I've seen folks do. So, like I mentioned, I do some acting with folks on other channels, and one of the things that we do is basically we do reads of movies and shows and different things. And I've seen a lot of VTubers who have done similar things, like sometimes they're crazy readings of The Room, or I've seen folks do like the Sonic movie, but I've also seen folks do more serious ones that aren't totally crazy and wild, and obviously do whatever the hell show floats your boat that you're gonna have fun with. But I will sort of put this idea in your head, Prism, of if that's something that interests you, I bet you could get folks together for it. I bet good money that you could find folks that would be interested in doing, and like, even if it's not that big budget studio production
to remake the movie.
No. I'm saying that if you wanted to have the chance to voice Amalthea, that you could get friends together to just do a read through of the script.
Oh.
And that, like, yes, if you wanted to have that as thing,
yeah.
I bet that you could do that. But obviously, if that is not of interest to you, but I like floating ideas to folks.
It's definitely table. I've actually spoken to Redclaw about table readings, dramatic table readings, and getting VTubers together and doing dramatic table readings. Hell yeah. So I've got so many content ideas in such little time right now, but that's definitely something that I've talked to a few friends about. Yeah, Redclaw actually wanted to do a full theatrical VTuber musical of Little Shop of Horrors.
That's right, because I've heard him do Big Green Mother from Outer Space in karaoke before. So, gosh, he would make a good Audrey too.
I would kill as Audrey too.
You would? No, actually, the very first time I saw Little Shop of Horrors, a woman played Audrey too, and frankly,
oh, I'm sorry, no, fuck, not Audrey too. I would kill as Audrey.
Well, I think you'd kill
Audrey
us both,
too.
Actually.
Well, thank you. But I mean, Audrey too. God, I love the voice actor. I think they were one of the 4 tops. I'd have to Google fact check myself on that. The Audrey 2 in the movie was so mind-blowingly amazing. I don't know that I could ever hear anyone else. But no, I would. It's been a dream to always play Audrey. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, so funny thing is, the first time I ever saw Little Shop, a woman was playing Audrey too, and it has stuck with me. Of just, she changed "Feed Me Seymour" into a sensual song, and it worked so damn well.
Oh yeah.
And that basically the entire concept of Audrey 2 is that it is this alien literally seducing Seymour with power, and the actress that played Audrey 2 in this case just leaned into that, and she did it so well. And it's the type of thing that a lot of male actors that I've seen do Audrey 2 lean into something that is more similar to what you see in the movie, which is sort of definitely alluring, menacing, but
It's not sexual.
Yeah, it's not sexual at all, and that she leaned into that, and I thought that was such a cool, different take, and I think she could have still gone with the menacing option, but it was really neat to see that different one, and since that was actually the first one I saw, when I went to see the movie later, I was confused. That it was just, oh, wait a minute, this wasn't what it was initially written to be, and it shot up the respect I had for her even more, because then I was like, oh, wow, she made that choice and she ran with it, and it was super cool to see. So at the same time, like I said, if you were to want Audrey 2, like I said, I've seen it done, and it works.
Yeah. That's really cool. I love different interpretations of different kinds of shows and art. I think that's fantastic. That's a great take on it.
Do you have any?
Chat wants to hear me voice Audrey or Audrey 2 or both. That's hilarious. Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, that'd be amazing. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
On the topic of just different choices in acting, that I know you really enjoy art house films, and just obviously acting, performing as a whole from an academic sense, from what I can tell, interests you as well. Do you have any favorite either examples of performances done differently, or some like different takes that you have always wanted to see? Again, a very broad question to be sure, so it is okay if...
I think I was focusing on the art films thing. I'm sorry, could you repeat the question for me? I totally ADHD'd out right
You're
there.
all good. You're all good. Actually, I'll actually do a couple of these. So first, on the topic of different performances, have you ever, seen a performance where somebody did something really unusual with the role, or have you ever thought, oh, if I were to have the chance to do this role, I might take this twist on it?
Literally everything I watch, I can't help but somehow put myself into what I'm watching, not because I think that I would do it better, but because I am so obsessed with performing that yes. And can I give you an example? No. It's everything. It's if I were doing it, I would do it this way. Or even watching a performance in a film, or hearing a voice in something, I might even have the thoughts of like, holy fuck, this is exactly how I would have directed this person. And they're so amazing that I couldn't do it better at all. I can't hold a candle to it. So, because I do have sort of a critical eye and ear for that type of thing, and a little bit of a director background, and training in that area too. So it's not that I don't enjoy, I've heard other people say this who are in other various sub industries of the performance, people who might be lighting masters and mistresses, and who are responsible for the lighting grid for a show, and then they go and they see another play, and the whole time they're in the audience, they can't enjoy it because they're like, why are the Fresnels at 45 degrees? Why are they not at 32? And why is that backlighting so garish? I would have chosen a soft pink. So it can be hard to enjoy something when your brain is constantly in the performance mode and director mode, but I do. And
I think it's a natural thing that when you do something for so long and that it becomes such a big part of your life, I think it is very natural for your brain to just sort of go into that mode, even when you are watching, even if you haven't done it, and not to necessarily, like you said, that you're not saying, oh, you think you could do it better, but that it becomes sort of a thought exercise and just sort of a fun thing of, ooh, that's really cool. I might do this, or, oh, I wonder how this would be different if they changed that bit, or, oh, I would have never thought to do this. And that's just, artistic minds at work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
And then moving to art house films, is there something that, well, I guess one, what do you use as your general definition for a art house film?
Well,
and I ask this simply because I want to make sure that, as I ask other questions, that I understand the framework with which to work.
You know what? I'm actually going to Google something because I'm obsessed with this person's filmmaking, and I cannot remember their name. Justin Benson. Justin Benson has blown up. Him and his partner, his writing partner, art writing partner, Aaron Moorhead, have made a series of art horror films, which I love. And they were really underrated for such a long time, and still a lot of people don't know about them. But they have and they don't have it on their Twitter. They used to have it in their bio on their Twitter. Oh, Resolution. Holy frick. Resolution. Hold on. Movie. It's really hard for me to talk without having something. So Resolution is classified as an American horror film. But and then the film The Endless. One of them is first. Resolution came first. The Endless came second. But you can watch them as their own, like, separate films. Anyway, I would consider those to be like art house horror films. What is an art film to me? I don't know, because when the whole genre of art films have always been around, but it used to be just like, your blockbuster films, your Sylvester Stallone and your
for some, an art house film is simply one that is not produced by a big budget studio, and others have more nuanced definitions. I am not here to say that one is right and one is wrong. I'm just curious what you use sort of as your go-to definition. I'm not saying that you are on the spot to provide what should be a quote-unquote correct definition either.
No, I'm just talking it through because it's hard for me to answer questions sometimes. But yeah, I think an art house film, I think the definition of it has changed over the years. It used to be, indie films. Independent films were like never action films. Independent films were art house films. And now you do have gigantic film production companies producing art films. Like, oh God, what is it? It's not Area 51. It's not Area 51. It's like, oh fuck, what is the name of that? This one company does art horror films. It's not Justin Benson. It's another, and they did like a movie with Scarlett Johansson, which came out a long time ago, and she's an alien. Whatever that production company is, I really need someone like on the side to Google for me all the time. But anyway, it's a I don't know. Now I think art films are, I know them when I see them, and I cannot describe what they are. I just know them when I see them. Gosh, I'm sorry.
That's fair. That it is.
I think that some, like, because like, I think what I'm trying to say though is because they've changed over the years. Like the movie that I'm thinking of with Scarlett Johansson, and now I have to Google it because I can't stand the fact that I can't remember it. She plays an alien, and alien. It's not Ghost in the Shell. This movie came out Under the Skin. Under the Skin as a weird ass movie, and that is made by the film company. Oh my God, I really cannot go on until I get the name of this company, which would help me explain so much of what I'm trying to say. Just bear with me for.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
I'm
glad that I can sort of cause this train of thought that it's something that I ask from a curiosity and sort of learning perspective. But now this is sort of an adventure for you too. Of all right, figuring this out together.
A24.
Oh, yes, yes. And it's the type of thing that I know that name. I can't remember for the life of me some of the other things they've done, but I know
Let me throw it out to you. Here are some of their films. Ex Machina, The Witch. Let me go to their other filmography. Plain House, The Carmichael Show, Comrade Detective. I don't know any of those. Random Acts of Flyness, Two Dope Queens, Pod Save America. I'm sorry. At Home with Amy Sedaris. Euphoria, The Confession Tapes, Frankenstein's Monsters, Monster Frankenstein. Never heard of that. Never heard of most of these. Moonbase 8. Never heard of that. Irma Vep. Holy fuck, that's a weird ass film.
What's that one about? I've not seen that one.
Oh, you know what? Let me go. Is this a remake? You know what? The original. This is a great art film. It was actually originally made in 1996. It was called Irma Vep. It's fucking weird, y'all. And it looks like they created a comedy drama mini series, which came out in 2022, which I was not aware of. Irma Vep is a great art film, which it's just so weird. I don't know. I just know it when I see it. Hereditary. Okay, Hereditary is a great example of what I consider to be an art horror film. I had to tap out when I realized it was about, and I don't want to spoil anything for anyone. I think that filmmaker is brilliant. I don't know that I enjoyed Midsummer, but I stuck through it. It didn't scare me too bad. But I had to tap out of Hereditary when I realized that it was more about paranormal activity. I thought it was about, so the worst kind of horror for me, and the movies that I have a lot of trouble with, but I can watch them, is when someone just makes a really, really bad choice. And that is the actual horror of the film. Is like the person really fucked up and really made this choice, and they feel like they can't get out of it, and the hoops they jump through, and the people they involved, and the lives they destroy because of this one decision that they made. And I found that absolutely horrific with the brother taking the sister to the party, and then the freaking all the things that happen, and then leaving her in the oh my god, it's so awful. And that was disturbing me so badly. I was like, this is such a great horror film. And then when I realized it's like, oh, here's a Ouija board. Okay, that I can't take that.
That almost cheapens it a bit, I suppose.
It for the purposes of my point, it did. But I also have had many people that I respect who love horror, loved all of Hereditary. One of my favorite films. I really have so much trouble with horror, but one of my favorite films, which is some of the most amazing filmmaking I've ever seen, it is an art horror film. I'll never get over it. I cried. I couldn't sleep. I had to keep talking about it. I will never get over this film. I will never get over this film. It's called The Tale of Two Sisters. It is a Korean psychological horror film. I will never recover. When I finally understood, because I had to watch it 3 times. I put myself through that movie 3 times. Because I could not understand what was happening, and then I realized it was 3 stories into one. And I each time I watched it, I focused on the different story and the different storytelling of what that story was. And when I really realized what the film was about, it was horrific to me. There's no blood, there's no gore. It is a story for stories, and it's also a little bit of Korean lore in terms of what the concept of Han is. Oh my god, it's so horrifying. But yeah, I don't know what I was talking about, but that's a great example of an art film to me. Other people would just call it straight up horror. I saw it as an art horror film, really.
That sounds so cool. I'm probably never going to see it because I don't like horror at all. I love hearing people talk about horror. I love analyzing horror from an academic perspective. I love reading Wikipedia articles about horror films that, I'll just see different trailers if I'm seeing a different movie, or that they will, come across my timeline in ads and whatnot, and it'll be like, that has some hook that has me curious. I know I am never going to see this film because I do just... Being scared is not something I enjoy doing to myself, and it's the type of thing that I can I can still watch a horror film and know, all right, I know I'm not in danger. I know I'm not these characters. I know this isn't real. That isn't the issue for me. It's just, it's still just not a pleasant experience. And even if it's something that I can totally handle without, like losing sleep or anything, that's not how I'm going to spend my free time. But I always get curious. I love mysteries. I love twists and things of that nature. And horror is very much usually built on that. And it sounds like this was a case of it as well. If you had to watch 3 times to sort of figure out that ending and fully appreciate that ending. So I'll sometimes read synopses or just, spoiler articles about things to figure out, oh, that's how that thing goes. That's neat. I'm not going to watch it.
It's not scary. I have trouble with horror films if it's a gory film, if it's a scary film, a jump scare film. The Tale of Two Sisters is a psychological horror film, and I almost wish the word horror wasn't even in the description at all. It is a mind fuck. And so are Justin Vincent films. It's really weird that they're calling, because I went to the Wikipedia just a second ago, it's really strange that they're calling it an American horror film. The film didn't scare me at all. Mind fucks horrify me, but they don't scare me with like games like Visage, where I literally cried on stream because it was so scary. The game is so scary. It's so scary. I can't watch films like that, and I can't play games like that, and I can't read books like that. The other kind of horror that I'm into, which is psychological horror, which are these other films I'm talking about, that's my jam. I really like that because they're the most thought-provoking. They don't show you what the thing is. They don't spell it out for you. It is a mind fuck. And that is the kind of stuff that gets me thinking, and that's the kind of storytelling that I really, really gravitate towards. Oh, and Sakushin, yes. Drive My Car, is that the one with Ryan Gosling? Well, not a horror movie. North by Northwest was a lot. Oh, I don't know that film, Sky. Thank you. I'll have to check that out. If Drive My Car is the one with Ryan Gosling, and that's if I'm thinking of the right film, and I'll give you a second to respond.
And I have not seen either. I know the name of both. Yeah. I've heard of North by Northwest. I've heard of Drive My Car. Ryan Gosling was driver. Driver.
Also, and I'm not going to Google it right now because we'll be here forever. But that movie is also a take on something else. Like, it's not just because there's all these like really long, sweeping, like, he's driving a car. It's filmed very slowly, and it's some sort of throwback or homage to a different genre of film that I can't think of right now. Cosmic horror. What's cosmic horror?
Cosmic horror is usually referring to something that, either eldritch stuff, Cthulhu and the like is cosmic horror. So that can be things that are either alien in the sense of from outer space, or that it is some type of strange otherworldly being that it could, be different realms or realities type of things, that it's more fantasy than sci-fi type of horror, but that it is distinctly relying on something that is not natural.
I never saw The Green Knight. But yeah, A24 is a great film production company for sure. Yeah.
I'm going to have to go back and find their list because I have not seen those horror films, but I know, gosh, this is going to bug me now of like what it is I've seen from A24. But I've seen some stuff from them. The things I've seen from them are good. I would search it, but I do not trust my computer to not chug, and I want to make sure that I don't mess up the stream. So I'm going to have to do that later.
Oh, Sakushin, don't be sorry. I love watching movies. And I did not. So North by Northwest is a Hitchcock film. I'm still super fucking creeped out by The Rope. We studied that film in one of my film classes. The sheer genius of how that was filmed. And then I heard something that really confused me. The reason why we studied it is because supposedly it was a film done in one take. And then I found out that was disproven. that it wasn't done in one take. And I'm like, what?
Everything's
Really?
ruined. Everything I know is a lie.
Everything's a lie. But I haven't fact checked that for myself because the last I heard, it was all filmed in one take. But I don't know. Could be wrong. Hitchcock is a great storyteller. Oh my god. I'll have to send him a friend request.
And hey, those are things that you can do for those Discord community nights that you're looking forward to.
I fucking love Twilight Zone, the original black and white Twilight Zone.
Gosh.
There are some episodes that scared me so badly, I cannot talk about them. Like the worst one for me, I will not talk about. I will not talk about it. I will not talk about it. I won't. I can't. I can't even. We gotta change subject. It's so scary. And that show was so fucking ahead of its time. It was so brilliant. I loved it. I love it so much. I've seen every episode a million times, except for the one that I can't talk about.
I've only seen scattered episodes, but the ones I've seen are just, ahead of its time is definitely accurate. And just the themes that they cover, the way that they are able to package so much world building into such a short runtime, and just to be able to play on so many different themes of whether you consider them horror or suspense or thriller, that there's so much originality there. And I'm sure that any number of those things are, adaptations of adaptations of adaptations, as we've talked about, but they were really good just at their presentation and their curation of making things distinct, making them memorable. And obviously, talk about reboots. I know that Jordan Peele has been part of a recent Twilight Zone reboot, and that it really
I haven't seen any of those.
Nor have I, but it did happen. And it's one of those things that has now become part of pop culture, public consciousness, and stood that test of time. And it's one of those things that I would watch episodes of the Twilight Zone, that even if there's something about it that's very different from normal horror for me. I don't know, that maybe it's the fact that it's short form, and but yeah, they do so much cool stuff, and just the storytelling in general.
Yeah, it's amazing. Taco, you were traumatized as a kid. I'm so
Oh
sorry.
no.
Yeah. Sakushin, I love Outer Limits and Amazing Stories. I've seen them all. Yep. Sorry, go ahead.
Hopping from one horror medium to another, you mentioned that you really enjoyed Little Nightmares, and I think you actually already mentioned it a bit earlier in terms of you playing Little Nightmares on stream. Is there something about that game and its presentation of horror that really struck you, or its storytelling? Was there something that you mentioned that you played all of them, and I think you said you played them multiple times over. What hits for that game about you, or what about that game hits for you?
No, it's first playthrough. I played through. God, there's two other games that are so similar to Little Nightmares, and I can only remember the name of one, which is Limbo. Did I play Limbo? What's the other one? There's Limbo. There's Little Nightmares. Frick. The kid is in a lab. I can't remember it right now. I do like puzzle games. I get frustrated by them, but I do like them. And here's the deal. I'm a Inside. Yes, thank you, Sky. I played Inside. Yeah. I finished that one a long time ago. I didn't play that on stream. This was before I started YouTube. Scution always goes to my Little Nightmares streams, and I don't. It's torturous. Here's the deal. I am a horror fan wannabe. I am a poser. There is something about the genre of horror, and this is what does it for me. There is no other genre of storytelling that does what horror does. Horror, in terms of characterization, it pushes the limits of what that story is. Let's look at The Walking Dead, which is a show I had to tap out of because I was so disturbed by something that happened that I couldn't go back to it. But that's a great example of what I'm trying to say is, what will you do in a situation? Will you kick that person in the face to get away from the zombies? Or will you try and help that person and possibly get yourself killed as well as the other person? What will you do? Horror to me constantly examines the human, not psyche, but the human experience in terms of decision making under duress, which gets to the real character of a person. Day to day, you think you know somebody. Day to day, you know, you see your friends or whatever. What does that person turn into in a crisis mode? What is your what is your best
examines
friend?
folks, fight or flight and just reactions in ways that are inherently not your day-to-day and not natural.
Uh-huh. Hey, Faye! Love you, love you.
Hi, Faye. Welcome in.
It is dated, but Cube is still an interesting horror movie. Oh yeah, I couldn't hang with that one. That one looked like it scared me. It would look like it was going to scare me, so I couldn't watch it. I would need to watch it with somebody.
Hey, thank you for the follow.
Thanks for the follow. Taco, that's exactly right. Like, that's what I love about horror is that it's not about the real monsters are the humans and what they fucking do and what they do. And I love that constant examination and research into characterizations of when people turn to absolute shit to save themselves and being surprised at what someone does or doesn't do. You might peg someone as the hero and they're the villain, vice versa. But I can't handle the imagery that comes with horror. I am such a visual person. My brain won't shake images that I see. I played Visage. I tried, and it's so funny that Faye stepped in because I'm considering going back to Visage, but only if Faye will be on a call with me.
Oh.
Because I need someone to just like tell me what to do because I really don't like not finishing books or films or games. It bothers me. And so I have this like desire to go back to it, but it's also not healthy for me. So I don't know if I can, but if Faye is there, I might be able to. But so my favorite kind of storytelling is horror, and I can't enjoy it because it usually deals with something that my brain can't process in terms of like, this is just art, let it go. This is special effects. They're not really bleeding out of their eyes. They're not really being eviscerated. But you skipping over those parts, kind of kills the experience of the whole movie. You can't just like close your eyes and not watch the scary parts, which I've tried to do. And then you don't get the whole, it's like your favorite song. You don't just listen to the favorite part of the song, even though you have the favorite part of the song that's coming up. You got to listen to the whole song for the experience. And that's why it's your favorite song. So it bothers me that I can't enjoy my favorite art, my favorite form of storytelling, because I can't stomach the visuals of it.
Do you think you would ever want to perform in a horror production, whether it be, voice acting, stage, film, but do you think that performing in that style of storytelling would either be exciting or would that take away part of it? Because for you, the joy is in the surprise and the analysis of how people react. Do you think that would change if you are the actor and that you have a script to work with and then the sort of relation with the material there?
I can act in anything.
Well, sorry, as with do you think
No. That's my answer though. So yeah, no. Being in a horror, I would love to. Being in a horror film or whatever, I'd be able to separate that, and that would be such a wonderful experience, and I'd be able to recognize the special effect. I mean, I've done plays before where I was stabbed and had to play with the blood pill, and that was a disaster because it got stuck in my shoe. There's something. There's something.
There's a story.
Earlier, like, do you have any experience? And I did. It was actually a Sherlock Holmes mystery, and I got stabbed, and I was supposed to keep the blood capsule in my hand, and it fell out. It just slipped out of my hand, and I knew that it slipped out of my hand, but I thought that I was playing it off because I'd gotten enough blood in my hand to make it look like I had a wound in my belly, but I didn't realize that it had dropped. Well, I knew it had dropped to the floor, and then I took one step, and like it was so quiet.
Did you feel that crunch?
The sound of the squish and the splatter of the blood under my foot going across the stage, I was like,
oh no.
How do I get myself out of this one? It was funny. We nixed the blood capsules after that night. It was just, we didn't have enough practice with them. Like, we didn't get them in time. They arrived late. We didn't get enough rehearsals with them. And it was just, they were so messy. The consistency of them was really thick because I think that they cheapened. By the way, there's a multitude of different color blood for the wounds because wounds bleed differently.
Yeah.
So you can actually buy, this is crazy, but this is true. Like, people who need blood for film, you can buy expensive blood, which would try to match human consistency and color. If they don't have much of a budget, they'll have to go with a different type of blood. But like, literally, like, you go to like a blood store and buy blood, and they work with you on what your budget is. Like, how much blood do you need, and do you want it to be? Is it animal blood? Is it human blood?
Yeah, I'm imagining the drop-down list when you go to order it online. That, do you need scab blood? Do you need stab blood? Do you need deep mortal wound blood?
Yeah. It's really interesting. Budgeting for blood. It's a real thing.
I'm sure the stage crew was happy to have the blood cut from the production because it just meant they didn't need to clean it up after every show.
Yeah, it was a fucking mess. And it was machine washable, but we were in these really wonderful Sherlock Holmes costumes. And so, like, having to launder everything every night was a fucking nightmare. So, yeah, they were quite happy when we got rid of the blood capsules. Yeah, alien blood. Yeah, for real. Like, there's all different kinds of blood. But just speaking on the human level of blood to purchase for your production, there's hundreds of different colors and consistencies that you can get, and they're all different prices. So I just found that so interesting.
I can't say that I think there might have been one production I worked on that there was blood, but it was, that was still high school at that point, so we were using very cheap, simple stage blood, nothing super fancy. But I'm not surprised to hear that there is this whole, somebody has to make all this, that there is some prop house or, studio or company that, they had to hire probably some chemists and just the different chemicals to make and test and produce all these. And I'm not surprised, and it's one of those fun things that obviously, blood is a naturally occurring thing for humans, and just that we don't think of that as something necessarily that, oh, why would anyone need to make blood? But when it comes to acting and theater and performance, that there's so many different things that you wouldn't necessarily think of as being part of a production that have to be part of a production, because if you're going to recreate some situation faithfully, you're going to need these things, and obviously you're not going to actually stab the actor every night because that's just not practical, not to mention a crime.
Not to mention you'd be arrested.
That, my dear children, is called cannibalism, and it is quite frowned upon in most societies.
Most societies, yeah. No, but Saku, you're right. Arterial blood versus head wound blood versus old blood, 100%. And then Sky, didn't they use like fucking oatmeal? Didn't they use didn't they like create blood from like fucking like oatmeal and like?
It was the Evil Dead. I would believe it.
Yeah. Sky, the blood is a combination of Caro syrup, non-dairy creamer, red food coloring. Oh, at one point, Bruce Campbell's shirt.
So, Sky, did you just Google this, or are you saying, or are you doxing yourself as somebody who works in blood theater? Because that's super fascinating and very specific knowledge.
Blood that after drying it by the fire, the shirt became solidified and broke when he tried to put it on. Oh, that is
oh my
funny.
Gosh.
Yeah, because didn't they have like for the first Evil Dead movie, like they had like a super low budget, right? And so they made that's why they made it.
Yeah,
they could afford blood, and there was like fucking gallons of it, right? Like there's so much blood. I haven't watched Evil Dead because I can't handle the gore.
Yeah,
Which
it
is
is
a
a very
shame
gory
because
movie.
apparently it's very, very funny
Oh
and
yeah, it's
and something that I would probably really enjoy. I would probably just need to watch it with somebody.
that is one that I've seen it, and that it was presented to me as a comedy film, and it very much is in terms of tone, just because of the combination of the performance and the budget makes it so it's very difficult to see it as true horror. But it's the type of thing that if blood just is not a comfortable thing for you, period, that I would not recommend that film, because there is indeed a lot of it, even if it's poorly made. That if you and blood don't mix, yes, there is a lot of fake blood there.
That kiss was for Darius. Hi, baby. How are you? I did not know that they used chocolate syrup as blood and old blood. That makes sense, though. That makes sense.
Yeah,
I also think for red lipstick, for black and white movies, I think the lipstick was not red. I think it was black. To make it look red.
Yeah, just to get the contrast.
I'm pretty sure I have that right, or not black, but like a shade of darker to make it look. Yeah, because red doesn't play. Red doesn't. And Darius knows this because of Darius. Yeah, that's so. Sorry, I'm starting to lose my words, but of course Darius would know that, because Darius is a wealth of information on this topic, and that's very cool. Oh, and Sky says that he Googled it. Yeah, Bruce Campbell's so fucking amazing.
Yeah, just you talk about your character actors, or just actors in general. That there are so many actors that I just for me, that since even with my relatively limited level of acting experience, that it's something that I suppose unsurprisingly, I love watching different performances and noticing different consistencies and nuances with particular actors. That the way my mind works is I like seeing the same actor in different types of films and just analyzing how they approach different things and then comparing them to others. Of just, like I said, my mind works sort of academically in that sense, and I always love watching that. And Bruce Campbell obviously is a very iconic one for just being very emotive, I suppose.
Yeah, he's really talented.
Goodness, we've already been at this now for about 2 hours. That it's the type of thing that, like you said, we could talk about acting for probably 6 hours if we wanted to. Just there's so many stories, and that as time goes on, some will just come up naturally as they did now. Others you'll remember, but it's not every day that I get to have a guest on my show who has that type of acting experience. So I always love finding out what people's different relationships are with acting, and those different experiences, because I feel like there's a lot of shared experiences that people who have done acting have, but at the same time, everyone's experience is so incredibly different, just from the roles that they've done or how they got into it. And that for you, it being something that right from the get-go, that you knew that you loved acting, but the way that you love acting is so all-encompassing, and especially talking about horror, whereas it's something that you have this complex relationship with in terms of how you actually consume horror media, but that you still have that fascination and that love for it. And I think that's super cool, and it's so fascinating to me hearing those different types of things. That in and of itself is its own story, and that's what I love about Vtuber Talk. I love getting stories, I love getting different experiences and finding out these different things about folks, and just that we talked a fair bit about Kinkication, Monster Island. Again, folks, if you want to join the Monster Island Discord server, it is down in the channel panels right now, and I will also be including it in the YouTube description if you're watching on YouTube. And obviously, since we are on Twitch, there's TOS, so we can't go into a ton of specifics, but if you want to see Prism talking with some incredible folks about different kinks, that she does those streams every Monday, so definitely be sure to check her out. I have a few questions that I ask all my guests before we wrap up. The first is, do you have any goals for the rest of 2022? That we're now in the middle of September, so there's a couple months left, And obviously, you've had quite a year already. That you mentioned that you went on tour as it was at the start of the year. You had your channel debut in March, and here we are, what would it be then, 6 months later? And that you have done, honestly, just an incredibly impressive amount of stuff in a very short amount of time, and I'm sure things are only going to be going up from here for you. So is there anything, it could be specific in terms of that you want to accomplish a certain project, and you don't need to even say what that project is if you don't want to, but if you want to tease something, you can. Or it could be something of, I want to try doing this different type of thing or learn about this thing. Do you have anything in mind, or is that similar to others where you're just sort of going with the flow?
Well, one of my goals is to comment on the fact that Darius, I have been sitting on this for 3 minutes. I didn't want to interrupt you, but Darius, I was so confused when you said Bruce Campbell in Unbreakable and Die Hard. Die Hard is one of my favorite fucking movies. First one's the best one. Unbreakable is probably my favorite M. Night Shyamalan. Although I really also liked, unpopular opinion, I did not hate Lady in the Water. I did not hate The Village. I did not see Old. I have not seen Old yet. Yes, I have! You said, we were talking about Bruce Campbell, and then you're like, Bruce Campbell is most known in Unbreakable and Die Hard. And I'm like, he's talking about Bruce Willis, but I didn't want to jump in.
I was like, wait a minute. Bruce Campbell was in Unbreakable? Wait a minute.
Sorry, fucking disaster. No, for real. But yeah, Unbreakable. God, what a genius fucking movie, man. The Happening.
Cool.
Okay, yes. I literally laughed out loud when the dude like laid on the fucking grass and just let the lawnmower just roll right over him. I'm like, what? The Happening was stupid. I did not enjoy. I did like Lady in the Water. I did like Lady in the Water. I really liked The Village. People really hated The Village. I liked it. I like twists. Sixth Sense was fucking brilliant storytelling. And you know what? I think that I am a good audience member for movies with twists and for magicians. I can never figure out, like, I turn into such a like wide-eyed, how did you do it? I don't understand. You could do the same card trick in front of me because like magicians like don't repeat their tricks, right?
Mm-hmm.
You could do the same card trick in front of me 10 times and I'm still like, how did you do it? That was magic. I'm always surprised. I never see the plot twists ever. And so I like that. I like that I can actually be surprised, you know, by an M. Night Shyamalan twist. I don't, not gonna like be down on myself for that because people like really shit on a lot of his movies, and I'm like, no, it's storytelling, and he is so good at writing complex relationships between family members. There's always something so fucking deep and troubled that goes on between father and son, or between, you know, father and daughter, or whatever the relationship is. It's such good writing, and I will die on this fucking hill. Yeah, the lawnmower. Yeah, I enjoyed The Village.
I mentioned that I like reading Wikipedia articles on horror movies. I love reading M. Night Shyamalan's. And every time one of his movies comes out, I almost always read the wiki on like day 1 or 2 because just the trailers that he puts out or that his team puts out are really good of just, for whatever reason, getting me very curious. And that, you know, like I've read the Wikipedia synopsis for Old, for The Village, for The Happening. And it's the type of thing that I look at it and say, this is just, it's so creative. It's, even if it's weird, and I know some people don't like it, you have to respect the originality because there have been a lot of remakes. I've never heard of somebody using I won't spoil the ending or the mechanic, shall we say, of The Happening. I've never heard of that one before. And I don't think I've ever seen it since.
So, listen, I will appreciate The Happening for it being weird, because I do appreciate creativity and weirdness. but haven't seen Old, and I haven't. There's another M. Night Shyamalan, Sir Mix-a-Lot, M. Night Shyamalan movie. I've missed another one in there. I can't think of it right. I didn't see Mr. Glass. I think Mr. Glass. I didn't see Mr. Glass. The Happening was my least favorite. I was like, God, this is fucking stupid. But I do appreciate it being weird, and I do appreciate. I mean, I didn't see the twist. I didn't know that was coming, and I always appreciate a good twist. So I will give it props for that. But I didn't see The Mist. Okay, I didn't see The Mist. Sci-Fi did a fake documentary in M. Night, and it was one of the most terrifying films. Oh, what? Sci-Fi
fake documentary about M. Night?
Huh. Wow. I don't think I'm going to be able to see that. It was terrifying. He sets up his twist through natural character development. Yes! Mm-hmm. That's why they hit so hard. They're obvious yet hits. Yes. 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 And I am such a sucker for good writing. I'm such a sucker. I'm going to say something, and everyone's going to leave this channel right now. When I'm going to say something that is going to sound like absolute, total fucking ridiculousness. Listen, hear me out. Okay. There was an old talk show years ago. I don't think it's on anymore. I don't even know if the host is alive anymore. It was called Jerry Springer. I don't even fucking remember what time period Jerry Springer was on. It was a terrible show. It was awful. It was disgusting. It was all fake. And it was shaming. It was terrible talk show. It was just so bad. There was a film that came out at the height of Jerry Springer's career, and it's called Three Ring Circus. And he's kicking. Is he still alive? Is this Jerry Springer's show still on? Please tell me it's not. It's
I
so
don't think
terrible.
It's still on.
Oh my God, it's so bad. Yeah, Maury, yes. Maury Povich was actually a decent person, I thought. But Jerry Springer was the fucking worst. And Jerry. Okay, so my good friend who also went to an acting conservatory, and we're still good friends, brilliant, creative person, wonderful actress, one of my favorite fucking people. She kept telling me that there was this film called Three Ring Circus, and it was about the Jerry Springer talk show, and she wanted to show it to me. And I was like, you will literally never, ever get me to watch that movie. I don't even care if you tie me up, which that would be a mating call. You tie me up and I'll pretty much do anything, but but not that. You will not succeed in getting me to watch the Jerry Springer movie by tying me up. That's the one thing that I won't do while being tied up. I can't get into it. I hate him. I hate everything about that show. It's gross. And she's like, do you trust me? And I was like, all right, he's one of my best friends. She's talented. She's smart. I gotta see for myself why she is talking about this film. So, listen. Oh yeah, Ricky Lake. Yeah, Ricky Lake. I think Ricky Lake started off well, and then I don't know what happened to Ricky Lake. Ricky Lake's actually also a pretty damn good actress too. So it's called Three Ring. I think it's called Three Ring Circus. And so she got me to watch it, and I was so annoyed. And I was like, I made her buy us dinner. I'm like, you're fucking buying us dinner for this shit. I can't believe I'm about to waste 2 hours of my life.
So excited to hear where this goes.
Listen, that movie, I don't know who directed it or wrote it. It's a quick Google would answer that question. I'm not going to do it right now. That movie had amazing writing. I don't understand the magic of that movie because it's the Jerry Springer. It's a movie about the Jerry Springer show. But there are complex relationships in that movie that are explored, and you learn the story of these people who end up on the Jerry Springer show. And the Jerry Springer show, which is the payoff, is the least interesting part of the film because it's the fucking Jerry Springer show. But how they get there and the characterizations and how they're written and the dynamics is fucking fascinating. And I was like, oh my God, I'm watching an art film and I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed that I'm enjoying. And she's like, see what and I'm like, no, I'm not going to admit it. No, this is terrible. It was so good. It also had an amazing cast. Like the two main women in the cast, Priscilla Presley. No, not Priscilla. What's the other Presley? The fucking
Elvis,
hottest.
no.
No, not Elvis, not Priscilla. There's another Presley blonde who looks a lot like the chick in the I, Tanya film. Who stars in I, Tanya? Who is that person? Who is that person that stars in I, Tanya?
Help us out, chat. Also, Darius with Jamie?
Jamie Presley. Thank you. Jamie Presley. What about Darius?
Darius saying that he was almost on the Jerry Springer show, but his acting partner dropped out.
Well, that's okay. Saddest moment of my life.
That's...
Yeah, Jamie Presley. Okay, so Jamie Presley.
Thank you, Blitzmaster.
Yes, thank you, Blitzmaster and Darius. Was one of the main women in this film, and then the actress who played her mother, and then there was another girl who was African American, played the other leads. There were 3 strong females. I've never admitted this to anybody, and I'm admitting it live on stream. That was an amazing film. Oh my God, it was so good, and it should not have been. And of course it was overlooked. Of course no one's heard of it. Of course no one wasted their time, well, because they thought it was a waste of time seeing it, because it was the Jerry Springer show that was made into a movie, Recipe for Failure. And it was so good. It was so good. And that is the power of good writing and good storytelling and good characterization and good display of dynamic, of complex relationships through art.
Just sometimes you get a production that you just look at and say, that was better than it had any right to be.
100%. You saw Sakushin? Oh my God. It was so good. But you had asked me a question like 20 minutes ago, and I don't remember what
the broad one there was, do you have any goals for the rest of the year? But frankly, I think that what we just did right there, that was way cool. I'm so glad that tangent happened. Thank you. But so I was asking, do you have any goals for the rest of the year? Yes. Be it something specific or just I want to try this new thing?
Oh, it's called Ringmaster. I thought it was called Three Ring Circus.
You're close.
How our brains like change something. Yeah, Ringmaster. It's so good. Let's have a watch party, Darius. Let's have a watch party. I don't even know where you'd be able to get that film at this point. It's probably out of print. It's so good. I no lie. I want to run a charity stream on my birthday, which is October the 13th.
Yay! So 1 month away.
Yes, exactly 1 month from today, which is a Thursday. So I want to do that. I haven't picked the charity yet, so I'm getting some people to help me set that up and help me with the goals and the things and the tiers and all that. But that's a goal. It made $9.2 million. Shit, it's not bad.
That's impressive, especially given that it was older, so you have to account for just difference there.
Well, yeah, it's old as hell. So, but I would love to make $9.2 million for
Wouldn't
charity.
we all?
Yeah, that'd be great. But it's a motivating factor for me to become a VTuber was to actually run a good charity stream. I'm starting to mix up my words. Charity stream every year, and that's really important to me. $3.99 on Prime? Is it really?
Ooh, okay.
Darius, we can have a watch party. Yo. Oh my God. So that's a goal for 2022 is to have a watch party watching Ringmaster with Darius.
Tell me when that happens, and I will tune in for that because I am intrigued at this point. So let me know when that happens.
Yeah. And also, can't you watch Prime shows on stream as long as everyone who's watching is also logged into Prime? Like, as long as
I believe that is the case.
I think that's the case. So I could actually stream that. But whatever. So that's a big goal. And then I do have a new background that I'm trying to debut, hopefully within the month, maybe shortly after my birthday, which is a totally new content idea that I wanna have as just another way for improv and sketch comedy. So there's that. And then I've been on my artists waitlist for 5 months now to get some new expressions and outfits for Prism, and that was a goal 5 months ago, and it's still a goal. But they are very busy, so I'm hoping to have something new for Prism by the end of the year. And then for 2023, I'm just going to be building upon everything I did in 2022, and hopefully I'll have more time to commit more to VTubing, which has always been my biggest problem is schedule. You know, I stream. I'm lucky if I get to stream 3 times a week on Twitch, and I'm lucky if I get to stream at least once a week on other sites, which I can't mention here, because I do enjoy both content so much. Really enjoy both of them so much, and I've got ideas for the other stream, the other platform too.
The other platforms, like that's a whole different type of creativity and the type of thing that just again, that I approach things usually just from this fascination, curiosity standpoint. And I think what, just in general, what people do with kink and kink entertainment is so fascinating, so cool. And especially, you know, like going on other platforms and just doing content creation, there is going to have its own challenges and just different, I don't want to call them tactics. There's going to be all these different approaches that you can take to it. And I obviously recognize that that's going to be very different from how you approach streams on Twitch. And I think it's really cool that you were able to have both platforms to explore. And I genuinely wish you the best on both. I always love hearing about how people, you know, just figure out what makes them happy at the end of the day. Just what gets them fulfilled, what gets them to light up and be happy. And whether that be here on Twitch, on other platforms, or both, it's so cool to see that in process. And that for you, it is clear that, like I said, you've done a lot, Prism, in a very short time. But like you said, there's always more to do, more to learn, and that I am sure over the next year, you're going to be able to do and try so many things. And I'm so looking forward to just seeing where you end up going, because I don't think none of us necessarily know where, but you're going places, and I can't wait to see where it ends up.
That's very kind. I think that I share a lot of what other VTubers share when they're first starting out. That whole frustration of not getting those numbers. My greatest joy, and I mean this, if there's anything to remember me by, if I'm hit by a bus tomorrow, remember this. My greatest joy in all walks of my life is to make people laugh. I only care I only care about making people laugh. If we're talking about performance, the power of laughter is actually way stronger than the power of tears. And so that's just my greatest joy. My streams on other platforms, which are, I mean, probably should be a little bit more serious considering the content, but I'm constantly having malfunctions and scuff on those as well, and that turns into comedy, and have probably fucked myself out of money because people stop tipping and laugh. But I love that. I love seeing LOLs on that platform as well. I really just want to bring comedy into people's lives, and if I'm not, like, it's almost like if I'm so obsessed with it actually that if I'm not making someone laugh, I feel like I don't exist. It just, I have to do it. And I'm reading chat. Oh my god, thank you. Thank you, Darius and Saku. Thank you so much. Oh, thanks, Sky. Sky's one of my mods for those streams, and poor Sky. Poor Sky. Sky works very hard to make sure that I don't God knows what on those streams. Anyway.
Talk about mod appreciation, modding on other platforms. Thank you for your service.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for your service while I service you. Anyway, so, but performing is great, and then comedy is my jam. So, I don't remember what my point was in even starting this. Oh, well, to say thank you for believing in me. I am suffering a bit from the whole, like, you get love bombed when you start, right? And I was lucky to collaborate with some larger VTubers, and so my first streams had hundreds of people in them, right? And now I might have 70, and there's not a goddamn thing wrong with that at fucking all. But what that means is I'm only making 70 people laugh and not 300, and that bothers me. So, and then running charity streams, people are like, why haven't you run a charity stream yet? Because I want bigger numbers. Because if I have bigger numbers, then I make more money for the charity. And I want that money to go to people who need it. And so numbers are important in that aspect. So yeah, my goals are to help other people through comedy, and my goals are to try and use my platform to help other people who might need the money for or whatever the cause is that I want to support. I'm leaning toward ADAA, which is the Anxiety and Depression Association of America, but it's kind of I have to look into the way charity, because Twitch has now made it easier to run charity streams.
Yeah,
and
I saw that they rolled out that new feature. It's weird. I think having it directly integrated on Twitch ultimately is going to be very good. I think that the suite of features currently offered by Twitch's integrated charity system is not nearly robust enough compared to other platforms. That the one that I use for my annual charity stream, which is going to be coming up again in January, which you will absolutely be invited to, that I always invite all my guests back. That I was fortunate enough to have 29 guests over the course of that I do. It's over the anniversary weekend for me, in that it's 12 hours Saturday, 12 hours Sunday, and I operate via Tiltify. That first and foremost, always operate with some sort of payment processor. That don't let the money pass through your hands. One, because it makes sure that nobody can accuse you of anything underhanded. Two, if it passes through your hands for tax purposes, it is taxable income. It doesn't matter if you donate it to charity afterwards. If it goes to your business account, it is considered income, even if it is part of a charity effort. So Tiltify, like I said, that's the one I use. They have a huge network of charities. I'm not sure offhand if they have the one you're looking at. That I can send you that link.
They do.
Okay.
They do. Tiltify takes a healthy cut, you know. Yeah, it's over 3% of what people give. Now it's worth it for the purposes of what you're stating. I don't want the money to come into my hands. There's no way. I do need a third party to help mitigate, and I will use something. If not Tiltify, I will use something. But I do need to research what the new charity thing that Twitch has been saying that they released or whatever. I need to look into. I have a lot of work to do, and I have a month. So yeah, Tiltify goes hard. Oh, never mind. Thanks, Kushin. Yeah, so I don't know, but my goal is to do it on my birthday, which is October the 13th. So yeah, we will see. But I really want to thank you for having me out, and I want to thank your community for welcoming me in, and I want to thank my peeps for coming in and hanging and saying hi. I really love talking about film and theater and dance and art and music. Could talk about that forever. And so thanks for letting me do that. Thanks for letting me take your stream to kind of a different place, you know?
That's what this is for. Hey, this is a talk show that you talked, and I am so happy I was able to help facilitate that. And just for me, like I said, the fun is in seeing the different things that happen every week. That I'm fortunate enough that this is episode 76 of Vtuber Talk. I don't know what I expected when I started this, but damn, it's been fun. And it's just, it's something that I'm so very fortunate that you and others have been so generous with your time and bring in your own communities, that it's been so wonderful having folks that I see in your own chat appear over here and that we're able to, talk with them, talk with each other. It's been just fantastic. The last question I ask all my guests, and it's a bit of a big one, and it is, what does being a VTuber mean to you? And I don't mean that in the sense of what is the definition of a VTuber, but I've had some folks say that being a VTuber to me, it is a tool in my arsenal as an entertainer, and I could see that potentially for you. But others I've seen say that being a VTuber lets me get in touch with my inner child, or lets me be someone that I can't be in real life, and that is entirely possible as well. And there's answers in between and beyond, but VTubing as a medium is something that's very different, I feel, and that different people get different things from it. So I'm curious, for you, Prism, what does being a VTuber mean to you?
So I'm obsessed with performing, and I always have been. Always, my whole life. I've performed in every medium imaginable. Dance and film and theater and voice. I've done it all. The only thing I hadn't done was digital puppetry. And I was like, I'm not going to fucking leave this planet and not have performed in every single way that I possibly can. And so I got to do this. I'm also really, truly am so obsessed with making people laugh. I was like, can I take my comedy to this different medium and still be an effective performer and still be funny and engaging and interesting? Can I do it? I really didn't know because I was so intimidated by the tech. So I first started out this evening by saying, a lot of VTubers they might feel nervous about VTubing because of the performance aspect. Can I hold an audience? Can I tell a story? Can I keep people, engaged? I wasn't worried about that only because I've been doing it my whole life. I was worried about the tech. And because I was so scared of that, I almost didn't do it at all. So for me, it's just another way for me to get my comedy out and to perform in a way that I had not done before. That's what it means to me. And I feel like that's a boring answer, but that's
especially
very simple.
Given the things that we've talked about tonight, that I always ask that question because I never know exactly what someone is going to say before they say it. And sometimes I have an inclination. Like I said, given what we've talked about, I had a feeling your answer was going to be more along those lines. But I love hearing people find those words, because even if I don't know exactly what they're going to say, anytime somebody answers the question, it always makes sense for them. And just for me to sort of encapsulate everything just that we've talked about, not only in these past couple of hours, but just for folks who might want to get to know you, that I think it's a really interesting question, because there's no right or wrong answer to it. But it's a very personal question in a way, of just what somebody gets from just how they spend their time, that you're presumably not going to do something like VTubing unless you are getting something from it that is positive for you. And the fact that what people can really gain just emotionally, experientially from VTubing is so broad that I love hearing those different answers. So thank you for humoring me with that. Thank you for being here and for just taking time out of your, like you said, very busy schedule. That it's one of the most precious things that someone can give you is their time. So thank you so much for giving me some of your time, Prism. Thank you to everyone in chat who's watching. Thank you to anyone who's watching on YouTube after the fact. Hi, YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. But also be sure to follow Prism if you aren't already, here on Twitch and on Twitter. I forget if you have a YouTube channel. If you do, I will make sure to include it in the video description when we uploaded, that I usually have things uploaded within a week or so. But again, thank you to you. Thank you to chat. As we wrap up, do you have anybody that you would like us to raid?
Oh, gosh. Yeah. We can raid into, oh my gosh, I got lots of friends on. Let's raid into RoyZoka.
Ooh, RoyZoka, yes, indeed.
RoyZoka.
Fantastic. Alrighty, well,
Thank you, everybody.
I will get
Thanks
all
for
that
having
set
me.
up. But yes, thank you, chat, that if you feel like it, you can follow me here on Twitch and Twitter. It's just /Vtuber Talk. I do these shows approximately once a week. And like I said, I've just been so fortunate to have so many wonderful guests, and I'm looking forward to the next one. But honestly, Prism, this was I can say so many things. There's so much. It's so much fun. Yes. No, it was a blast, and I can just only hope that I was able to provide you with a good time as well. So honestly, thank you so much. Thank you to everyone in chat. We're going to be sending you over to Roy. So have a wonderful rest of your evenings, and I will see you all next time.
Bye, everybody.